Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining today's stream. Today is a special episode, and we have a special guest here, Mark Berry, joining us back on the show. Aerospace pilot engineer, apparently that guy. I don't know why you put that on your little label there.
I just don't know what else to say.
Yes, glad to have Mark on. This is going to be a very fun episode. We have quite an agenda for you. And your co-host, Anthony, the official co-host of the channel now. Thank you guys for joining the show, and thank you everyone for hopping on. So we have quite an episode for you. But first, our sponsors. We actually have a brand new sponsor to the channel. I present to you guys Celebrity Diamonds 305. And also we have BrightCat Data. We're going to get to both of them in a minute. Actually, I want to share the website of Celebrity Diamonds 305 first as the new sponsor. And also BrightCat Data, they also made a new website. So we're going to check that out. Wow. So Celebrity Diamonds 305 is a jeweler diamond business anywhere in the US primarily. But even though 305 is like Miami local, he does custom jewelry for anyone who's looking for awesome jewelry, gold, diamonds, all types, you know. So check that out if you are interested in jewelry. And then we have BrightCat Data. Also, I have in the bottom here, you can see now the agenda of what we're going to be talking about. eVTOL News is a segment for BrightCat Data. I do not yet have a segment for Celebrity Diamonds because they're a new sponsor, but I'm going to figure out what exactly to do with them. A little bit different since it's a jewelry company. But yeah, BrightCat Data is big data company, Canadian real estate intelligence company. So it makes sense. We're going to talk about eVTOL News, getting your data on that front when we talk about that. But yeah, BrightCat Data, they have a new website here. I just wanted to briefly share. Fairly simple, but really good job. I think it's a big improvement from what they had before, just generally speaking, like scoping out the whole website. But yeah, it makes a lot more sense. It's a lot more easier to navigate. So if you are interested in real estate in the Canadian market, please check them out, and that'd be awesome. Very easy. So we'll move forward with the episode. Yeah, very fun. We have a very fun special episode today because we're going to be talking about something I didn't even know exist. Mark, I actually never knew what an experimental aircraft was until Mark explained that maybe 6 months ago or so. And it made a lot of sense, and it was pretty cool. And once I heard it, I kind of saw it everywhere. But I didn't know of this category. Mark, have you heard of the super experimental aircraft category?
Super experimental. No, I don't think I've heard.
Right?
Of that.
Pretty interesting. So it's I guess I'll briefly give the explanation to people who are wondering what it is. So it's aircraft that generally refer to a cutting-edge demonstrator aircraft or research vehicle, often designated as X-planes, designed to test, validate, and fly revolutionary aerospace technologies that far exceed current industry standards. Unlike amateur-built experimental airplanes, these are high-stakes, typically military or industrial-backed projects intended to push the boundaries of materials, speed, and flight dynamics. So it really just takes it to a whole nother level. SpaceX Starships actually would be kind of considered an experimental aircraft, but the Falcon 9 would not be anymore because it's pretty much like approved and commercially, viable and testing. But I'll just briefly run through some experimental aircrafts. This is the NASA X-59. It is one of the fastest aircrafts ever produced. The X-43 by NASA. This is the fastest airplane that we've ever flown. Do you know how fast this went, Mark? Do you know what is the fastest we've ever traveled? Not a human, but an aircraft, I guess.
Yeah.
In Earth, because technically speaking, we have the things outside of Earth, the ISS, and other
Earth
satellites.
breathing and non-Earth breathing.
Yeah.
I bet you that was a scramjet. I'm pretty sure that was to test.
It was a scramjet.
Scramjet technology, which is really cool on itself. I bet you that went between Mach 9 and Mach 12.
Very good guess. Yes, Mach 10. We went
Mach 10. There you go. Always have some buffer in there.
Yeah. crazy. That was one of the fastest, and I think that was in like 2003 or 4 or something super like long ago, relatively speaking, which is kind of surprising. Yeah. So that's really cool. So I just wanted to briefly show what the experimental aircrafts are, and then there's one that we're going to touch on that is absolutely extraordinary. I thought when I first saw this is like AI or CGI or something, which is the Strato launch. We're going to be going over that in just a minute, but as you can see, it's in the agenda below here after the Bell X1. But just some notable ones we're not going to be talking about. There's the Boeing X66A. I don't know if you've ever seen or heard of this one, Mark. Have you seen this?
I'm aware of it.
It is it basically has like 2 wings, like at the top, the main wing, and then kind of like a supporting wing at the bottom.
It's a truss wing design, yeah.
Yeah, it is. That's right. It's called like a truss wing design. Yep. You know all the different types. There's so many. It's crazy. I learned quite a lot about aircrafts also. Like also the differences of having a wing on the top versus the bottom versus the middle, right? Like I learned the bottom, if you have a wing in the bottom, it's pretty beneficial because then you don't have to store the wings in the fuselage. You can store your wheels, your the wheels when you land, your landing gear. You can store them in the wing instead of in the fuselage, and then that saves you a lot of space for other stuff, which is interesting. But there's different benefits of why you would place the wing, where you'd place them. I learned quite a lot about aircrafts this week, but I wanted to keep the topic on these super experimental aircrafts because they're super extraordinary, to be honest.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Are any of those aircraft too fast to have a human? Like, is there like a make break point where like the aircraft is too fast to have a human in it and they would like crush under pressure?
Yeah, for sure. The X-43 going Mach 10 kind of is, but it kind of depends. If you're going those speeds, if you're on a rocket also.
You are, yeah. Like if you're going into space, you're going even faster. It's not the speed that it goes, it's the acceleration that it can go. So if you have some sort of a like if you have some aircraft that can turn, like you could design an aircraft that could turn and do 15 Gs. Like 15 Gs is 15 times the acceleration of your body of gravity. Whoa. So like we're sitting right now, you're sitting in a seat at 1 G. You're feeling 1 time the amount of gravity. But if you go around a corner in a car really hard, the reason the roadway kind of tilts is because you have centrifugal force, which pushes you out. And that actual force is an increase in G factor. So, and an airplane, if you do a really, really tight turn, that airplane could go, like fighter jets are designed for 9 Gs. So the pilot sitting in that airplane feels 9 Gs their weight. So their head, which weighs 10 pounds, now weighs 90 pounds. And then you put a helmet on top of that. Brandon Robinson and company, or any fighter pilot that would fly would feel those enormous amount of Gs. So that's typically the limiting factor. And then clearly, like anything for commercial use, you got to be considerate of how high it goes, because anything above like 60,000 feet, your blood boils. So then you got to be like wearing a spacesuit. So it's why we really don't like launch people in rockets for commercial use, to like get someone to the other side of the planet, because then it pretty much have to become an astronaut first.
Wow, that is interesting. I actually didn't know that, and looks like Farmer Boy here also did know that. He answered only on acceleration or deceleration.
Yep.
So that is interesting to know. Smoke That Ace says it's good to see you, Mark. Yeah, it's been a little while.
Too. Yeah.
Nothing but great news for Horizon Aircraft, and I'm loving it. You know what? I was so engrossed in all this super experimental aircraft stuff that I kind of forgot to segment out a part for Horizon's news, but we're gonna include that in the eVTOL news section there later. Daniel, Wholesale Jewelry. Yes, Daniel, by the way, is Celebrity Diamonds 305. Thank you, Daniel, for being the sponsor. Rezo, welcome. Thank you for joining the show, and everyone else. So let's continue with the episode. So we have some incredible aircrafts to be showing you today, actually. Let me quickly note, we have later, we're going to be talking about the Super Scooper. This is some incredible aircraft I've never heard of until Anthony talked about it. We have Anthony's Epiphanies. That's going to be interesting. Have you ever seen, Mark, have you ever seen this? Just a little notable aircraft.
I think
Have you ever
I think you should I think you showed that to me at one point. I've seen it.
It's by
Can't
Lockheed
really-
Martin. Can't believe they actually tried to work on it. It wasn't viable. They figured out it's not gonna work. Yeah.
Yeah, you can make cool renderings and cool type stuff, but yeah, I don't know how that would really lift very well. Might be really aerodynamically, or it might be really efficient flying through the air, but actually getting in the air could be a little difficult.
Yeah. There's honestly a lot of crazy designs, but I just wanted, that one's a pretty cool one. I just wanted to note a few here. There's a lot. You guys can do your own deep dive on super experimentals, but I just wanted to note. Oh, that's a little inefficient. Well, all right.
Just cut out.
No, I nothing. I'm learning here, doing a lot. So we're jumping into Bell X1, as you guys can see. I have now the agenda. It's going to be skipping over. So Bell X1 is I wanted to just note, this is a super experimental aircraft. Some of them we're speaking of will be super experimental here. Actually, we have the SR-71 that Mark knows a lot about. And the Strato launch, I'm excited. So we'll present that in a minute here. The Bell X1. Do you know about the Bell X1, Mark? Have you heard of this?
So I can say the Bell X1 and the movie The Right Stuff, which portrays Chuck Yeager breaking the sound barrier in the Bell X1, was my inspiration as a very young child to want to become a pilot and get into aerospace.
Wow.
So if anybody, it's an old movie, but the movie The Right Stuff is what personally inspired me to want to get into aviation and aerospace. Like when I was a little kid, I wanted to be Chuck Yeager, and the Bell X1 is about Chuck Yeager. It was the first X-plane, and it is the first airplane to actually go supersonic.
That is right. He beat me to it. I didn't know that you knew it, and more than that it was your inspiration to become a pilot. Yeah. Look at that. That's so cool. Yeah. So this is the Bell X1, very shiny, bright orange aircraft. I think it looks pretty cool. In fact, this is the back of it. Pretty unique. So it is the first, like you said, the first aircraft to go supersonic. This was on October 14th, 1947. So long ago. The Bell X1 became the first airplane to fly faster than the speed of sound. The X1 reached a speed of 1,127 kilometers, 700 miles per hour, which is Mach 1.06 at an altitude of 13,000 meters, 43,000 feet high, pretty much like what airplanes fly today. It flew a total of 78 times. And on March 26, 1948, with Yeager at the controls, it attained a speed of 957 miles per hour, 1.45 Mach. That's the highest speed it ever went. Pretty much 1.5 times the speed of sound. Let me put our faces back there, I guess. So that is the aircraft. The X1 fuselage, as you can tell, it looks like it's supposed to resemble a bullet, a 50 caliber bullet, because at the time that was one of the only shapes that was known to have stable flight at supersonic speeds. And actually, there's aircrafts. I saw a recent one, a company working on a bullet-shaped aircraft, which is quite interesting. And that's kind of an example of biomimicry, except that's not nature, but like reusing other, concepts and ideas in designing an aircraft. I think that's cool. If you look at actually a lot of other aircrafts around the time, people tried to design them like birds with feathers, and there were some weird designs back then. But that is the Bell X1. So yeah, it's more than just an experimental aircraft. It was a turning point in aviation history. Its success shattered the belief that supersonic flight was impossible, inspiring engineers and pilots like Mark for generations. Without the X1, the jet age and even space travel might have looked very, very different. Today, The Bell X1 stands as a symbol of innovation, risk-taking, and relentless pursuit of progress. I think it's pretty cool. I think the X1 reminds me a lot of Roger Bannister. It's kind of like how he's like the Bell X1 is kind of like Roger Bannister of aviation. People didn't believe it was possible until it was.
Who's Roger Bannister?
The crazy thing about the Bell X1 is that it wasn't an air-breathing airplane. If you showed the picture of the back of it, it had 4 rocket motors, and that was it. And it was actually lifted. They put it in the belly or the bomb bay of a World War II bomber, and the pilot, and they would take off and get up to altitude and then drop it out of the bomb bay. And then the Chuck Yeager would ignite the rocket motors, and then it went off and did its supersonic run.
Wow, you know more than me. I didn't know you know the guy Chuck Yeager. Yeah, Chuck Yeager is the guy.
If you don't know who Chuck Yeager is as a pilot, you might as well just stop being a pilot. And especially as an engineer who's done flight tests. So Chuck Yeager he's very well known. But another interesting thing too about the Bell X1 and about learning, like engineering at that time was it was like today we've got computers. Back then you just went out and tried it. I mean, it was similar to just like the Wright brothers. And the challenge that they had was these airplanes, when they would get close to the speed of sound, they would just become uncontrollable and fall apart. And the reason is because these airplanes you have a tail and a horizontal stabilizer on the back with a rudder. Well, when you start getting close to supersonic speeds, you get this shock wave that forms on the airplane, and the shock wave forms on those control surfaces. And what would happen that they didn't understand is that the shock wave would blank out the rudder or would blank out the ailerons, and then it didn't matter what control input a pilot would put in, it would just be completely uncontrollable and the airplane would disintegrate in the air. So the X1 actually broke the sound barrier it was in a climb. It was actually going up like a rocket and still broke the sound barrier.
Wow.
And that's how it was able to maintain its controllability. That's why when you look at a fighter jet, like an F-18 or any fighter jet today, the entire tail section moves, the entire section moves compared to just having a tail and a smaller rudder like normal airplanes do. All right, that's my engineering geeking out for the moment.
Damn.
No, I love it. Going back to Anthony's question, to those who don't know, Roger Bannister and why I compared the X1. Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile. He was the first person to do it. Before that, people believed that if you did it, you would die, and people were scared to do it. Right after he did it, the very next year, there were so many other people broke the 4-minute mile, and now it's, people are trying to break the 3-minute mile, I believe is the goal now. But there's no belief that it's impossible once someone actually gets it done. And, that's what the X1 kind of resembles for, the supersonic speed in aviation. And that's what this whole super experimental space is all about, testing the boundaries. These aircrafts don't necessarily, they're not built with ROI in mind. But moving on to the next aircraft that I think is extremely awesome and has a part of the Bell X1 too that Mark mentioned. We have which is he mentioned the Bell X1 was dropped by like a B-2 bomber, was it, or something, right?
No, it was a World War II bomber. The B-2 didn't come out too much later. It was probably like a B-59 or some sort of a B-17 or something. But let me see if I can guess the next airplane. Can we play that?
Sure. I have it on screen here now. You're in the car. Yeah. No, it's fine. Go ahead. What's the next one?
All right, I was thinking you're gonna do the X-15.
Nope. We're talking about the Strato launch. This is where this whole thing started. Actually, we're gonna completely do a whole nother video. I had a whole nother intro actually, which is a little bit corny and funny. So the whole intro that I did is actually an outro. So at the end of this video, stick around. There's a whole funny 3-minute AI video with the song, and it's got Mark and Anthony in it a little.
Oh man.
Oh man, now that I think about it, next time I should make the song featured the artist should be Mark Anthony, the singer, you know?
right.
Anyways, yeah, we're talking about the Strato launch. This incredible beast of an aircraft. Have you seen this thing?
Yep, I have seen that, and I know people that have worked on it.
Really, it is
Mhm.
incredible. It is the biggest aircraft in the world, by every measure. It carries a million, a half a million. No, is it 500 million? I think half a million in
It's
payload.
probably half a million pounds.
Pounds
Yep.
in payload. Yeah.
Yep.
It wouldn't make sense to be. Yeah. It is obviously has a dual fuselage. It's a one of one, and there have been other dual fuselage aircrafts, but this is the biggest in the world. Has the largest wingspan in the world with 385 feet. I actually don't even have these notes. I remember all of this because it was just so. I just love this aircraft. It's so cool. It was actually made by Paul Allen. If you don't know who Paul Allen is, he is the founder of Microsoft with Bill Gates. He actually passed away, and unfortunately, he didn't get to see it fly. When I first saw this, I thought this was AI until I saw the video, which I'm about to show you guys. This is real. This thing actually took flight. And unfortunately, it kind of died off with Paul Allen dying off. But yeah, Paul Allen, by the way, has done some incredible stuff. I got to look a little more into that. But this is one of the coolest things he's done. So the whole point of this is it's actually supposed to replace rocket launches, interestingly enough. Like, what is the use case of a dual plane, you would think? I don't know, to carry more passengers? No. It's if you see in the middle there, it's to be able to put like a, something like that, NASA X-43, kind of something like that in the middle. This is actually called the Talon A2, which is their rocket, the Stratolaunch's rocket. And it goes right in the middle there, and it's supposed to, fly, like be dropped. Here, let me just show you. We're gonna play the video. It's honestly just incredible.
What's the purpose for the two fuselage? Like, what's like the fundamental practical purpose for that besides more stuff?
Well, it's to carry another aircraft in the middle there and have it launch in air. So I'm gonna show you here in a second.
Oh, okay.
Because if you were to just have one fuselage and have the aircraft hovering on one other wing, it would be too heavy.
Yeah, the intention too is, so the thought behind it was that when you launch a rocket, you have to the most difficult part of the rocket launch is like the first 50,000 feet, because the air is so much more dense where we are at sea level or at a couple thousand feet. So that sea level up to 50,000 feet requires so much fuel, which then equates to weight, which means you have to have more fuel or more rockets. You get to this point of where the juice isn't almost not worth the squeeze. And so with this concept is you could take the airplane and attach the rocket to the airplane, and then the airplane under wing-borne flight would take it up to that high altitude above the really dense atmosphere, similar to how they launched the Bell X-1 and how they launch a lot of X-planes for flight. Which is it's a really novel idea.
Yeah, when I first saw this, I was like, what is the purpose of this thing? And then I realized, I'm like, that's so interesting. Like, they just rethought how to actually launch rockets, which which kind of it makes a lot of sense when you actually look at it. Like, it probably saves a lot of fuel in saving that launch cost, because flying conventionally is a lot easier than vertically. So why not do that with rockets? We do that with planes. I think that was a really novel approach. I agree.
Yeah, anytime you listen to a rocket launch, you'll hear them say, and like when the space shuttle used to be launched, they would always say, throttle up, and they would go at and then they would actually take off and have the engines not at 100% power, because it would have ripped the airplane apart. Just the aerodynamic pressure on the airplane itself getting through the thick part of the atmosphere. So after maybe a minute of the flight, they would get past they would get up past like 50,000 feet, and then the space shuttle, you hear them say, "Go at throttle up." I mean, it's real, tragically famous. The Challenger crashing, and when they went at throttle up was pretty much right where the Challenger exploded, back in the 1980s. But all of that, the whole purpose of that again is to get out of the thick atmosphere.
Yeah.
I'm gonna step out of the view of the camera for a second because I gotta get gas.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, here, this video is taking long. I'm gonna skip ahead. I wanted to show
What?
this. This is the part. So the aircraft is flying, and you'll see the plane in the middle here detach in a minute.
What company makes this again?
They're called Stratolaunch, which I love the logo, even the name. It's like stratosphere launch, like you're supposed to launch a rocket from the stratosphere.
Since SpaceX is catching the rockets when they come back, they maybe they want to corner the market, be like, we want to launch them and catch them.
Yeah, that's true. But launch is a big thing, so they're at least solving that. I mean, this, if you see the end of the video, actually, I don't know if it's in this one or a different one. The rocket just lands in a normal airstrip, with parachute sort of thing behind it, like a regular, like a regular NASA rocket, really.
Okay.
But as you saw here, I'll replay that real quick. This is the main purpose of it here. They click and it drops. So, and the name of the rocket, this aircraft is called the Roc, ROC, which is an Arabian legend for a bird, an eagle, an eagle that was so big. It's like a legend of like some huge eagle that it supposedly would carry with its claw elephants. It was like that big, and it's such a great name, I think, like, or at least the story of it's great, because this thing literally is big enough to carry a freaking elephant. Like the rocket it just launched is probably the weight of like 2 elephants or something. Yeah. So I don't know. Unique name, great story. Founder with unlimited money, but unfortunately he passed, so it kind of went bankrupt. And they tried to sell this aircraft for $400 million. Richard Branson, where's Mark? I want Mark to know this.
I'm here.
Oh, yeah.
I'm listening. So I'm using gas. Sorry, guys.
Have you heard? So they try to sell this thing for $400 million. I don't know what it's really worth, but pretty awesome looking aircraft. You know what Richard Branson offered them? Take a guess.
Just say that again. What was the question?
The Roc aircraft, this dual fuselage aircraft. They went bankrupt and they tried to sell the aircraft.
Did Branson buy it?
He offered them as a joke $1. No one wanted to buy the aircraft.
No.
And it was pretty shitty. It ended up being bought by some investment firm or something, and they're trying to repurpose it. It's some firm that buys failed businesses and they're trying to do something with it now. We'll see. But I'm glad that it's not fully dead, because it is a beast of an aircraft. It is only one of one. It can be used for a lot of things, actually. It has interesting use cases, but I don't think they'll be building more of these for sure.
No, they definitely won't be building anymore. They do say in aerospace, if you want to, in aerospace, if you want to take a lot of money and make a little bit, and turn it into a little bit of money, just invest in aerospace or go into some aerospace endeavor, which was kind of a joke for the last, like, from the 1970s to the 1990s or early 2000s. I think that's changed now, just because there's so much opportunity in aerospace. But this would be a good example of, just someone who has taken a huge investment and they actually made a really amazing concept, and then but it just didn't play out. But what they'll do is they'll still the airplane's probably out in Mojave. It flew out in the Mojave Desert, and that's where it was based out of and was designed. Eventually someone will find a use case for it and buy it, and the asset will get sold off.
Yeah, no, they're trying to do something. I don't know, but it looks like it's not going well. They had some brawl with SpaceX over a facility or something. I'm not too sure, but yeah, good luck to them. I just wanted to highlight it, and it's the thumbnail of this video because it's just and it's in the intro. It's just an incredible aircraft. Um, just like SpaceX's Starship rocket, which Rezo here commented, I didn't know that people don't know this. I thought it was big news. It went viral, but he says he has no idea that SpaceX is catching the rockets until the intro of this stream. Yeah. Those little chopsticks, Elon calls it. It's one of the coolest, most incredible feats of innovation I've seen in forever, honestly. The fact that he landed the rocket is crazy already, but they're literally catching them with like chopsticks in the air.
Speaking of Elon and chopsticks, you know how he calls the refueling airplanes? They got the PP touch.
That's right.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
Is Anthony talking? I don't hear Anthony.
Yeah, you don't hear him?
No.
Mic check.
I only hear you.
Oh, that sucks. He is talking.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to leave the stream and come back. I'll be back in a second, and maybe it'll fix it.
Sure. I'm going to show what Anthony is talking about here about this PP touch. He's talking about the Starship, the rocket actually refueling mid space. I don't know what to call it. It's not midair. So let me show here. Look at this thing. These rockets are supposed to be outer space, pee-pee touching, refueling each other. I mean, Elon literally said pee-pee touch. He's so funny. They're not going to be doing it like that. That's a real pee-pee touch. But this is quite funny.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Honestly, it's incredible to see that when they do that. But yeah, what they did right now, they actually successfully, caught the rocket multiple times. They caught the Starship. So this is in the super experimental category, but I didn't even make a segment for it because I figured everyone kind of knows about it, but it is in the intro because it's one of the most extraordinary things. But I guess if there's anything you guys want to note about that, I don't know. Yeah, Starship's awesome. I'm excited.
Well, the only reason I thought about it is because Brandon Robinson's dad, he was talking about how Canadian Air Force has the refueling aircraft and stuff like that. So next time we go on, I'll see what I can find about like cool stuff about like the refueling aircraft and, stuff like that. Because, similar to the Super Scooper, interesting technology woven into the aircraft.
Yeah. We're going to get to the Super Scooper right now in a minute. Let me see. I missed some comments here. Rezo said another really cool aircraft. I recently discovered the Piaggio P180. I don't know about the P180, but isn't the Piaggio, they're a plane company, right? They have an awesome, I have them on their website of the week, not for today, but they have a really cool website for another time. The front actually reminds me of the Cavaret a little. Okay, interesting. Nassim said, haha, that was me who said that guy in your last stream, as I forgot his name as it's been a long time since he was on the panel. Good to see you, Mark. Oh, is that why you put you're that guy, Mark?
Yeah.
Because someone said you're that guy. Are you with us, Mark? Can you hear us? Mark? No, I don't think Mark is with us. Okay. Well, we're gonna move on.
I think he put in the chat, the private chat. He said add him. That was.
I know. I added him. He's here.
Roger.
But we'll continue with the Super Scooper because that is Anthony's segment. Anthony showed me this aircraft, an absolute incredible aircraft. I didn't even know this really existed. So Anthony's going to be sharing a bit about that. I actually know quite a bit about it as well. But yeah, let's get to, there we go, the Super Scooper. Should I pull up the video or do you want to, yeah, should I pull up the video first, I guess?
Yeah, real quick. So Super Scooper, Montana company, their old CEO, his name was Tim Sheehy. He ran for Senate of Montana, so he stepped down. So then new guy took over, Sam Davis. and it's on the Nasdaq.
Oh yeah.
BAER, right?
B-
Super
Wait, what
Scooper.
is it? BAER?
BAER.
BAER. Okay, I haven't heard of that.
Yeah.
I will
So
maybe pull up the chart of it in a minute, and we're gonna take a look at this video and check out the Super Scooper. Mark, are you with us? Can you hear us now?
Yeah, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah,
Yep.
awesome.
All right, sorry about that, guys. I had to completely drop out.
All good. Do you know about the Super Scooper, Mark?
Of
What a
course,
name.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty badass.
All
It's
right.
great for firefighting. Actually, there were some fires in North Carolina about a month ago, and there was one operating in the lake that I go boating on. It was sweet. Like you
Wow.
could see
You
this
saw
thing
it.
come down and pick up water, and yeah.
Super cool. Super
Badass.
Scooper. So I'm gonna play here, and let's check out what they are, just like the first minute here.
These pilots are flying what's called a Super Scooper. At around $30 million, it's one of the most expensive aerial firefighting aircraft ever made.
It's literally a boat with giant wings, and it's built like a tank. It looks like no other plane in the world.
The CL-415 Enhanced Aerial Firefighter can scoop and drop 1,400 gallons of water on wildfires in a matter of minutes. Compare that to this 1970s plane, which could only drop 200 gallons of water at a time.
$30 million is very expensive for any aircraft. However, it's actually the most cost-effective aerial firefighting asset.
Super Scoopers revolutionized aerial firefighting, and Insider got an up-close look with Bridger Aerospace to see how this aircraft is tailor-made to fight fires. Airplanes have been used to fight wildfires for almost 100 years, but early attempts weren't nearly as effective.
In the 50s and 60s, almost all the aircraft used to fight fires were retired or salvaged World War II aircraft. Tanks were strapped to the middle, and they were used in a very haphazard, provisional manner.
Some of these makeshift firefighting planes were only able to drop 150 to 200 gallons of water at a time.
Not really effective in today's world, but at the time it's the best they could do.
Canadair was contracted to design a plane specifically to fight fires.
So they just
Yes, and
Yeah.
then there was one more part we said we're gonna play around here. This is cool. How they pick up the water.
go through your pre-pickup checklist. One of those items is probes down.
Probes are down.
The way the aircraft picks up water is it does not stop or suck it up. There's no vacuum. It scoops it, and it scoops it through what you see here, 2 probes on either side of the keel of the aircraft, about the size of your hands put together. And as soon as you hit the water, they catch. You can feel that in the cockpit. You got to be ready for that catch with the yoke.
Right there, get ready to add some powder. Now. Oh,
And the water begins filling almost immediately.
It takes the scooper 12 seconds to fill its tanks with 1,400 gallons of water, during which time the pilot has to maintain the plane's speed and direction.
Once the aircraft is full and the tanks are full, you retract the probes. There is a noticeable surge in the aircraft when those probes go up, get the aircraft back up to speed, and take off.
I think that's enough.
He said
Yeah.
12 seconds? Or he said 12 seconds, right?
12 seconds it takes them to scoop up all the water. What is it? How many pounds of water? I forgot what they said.
1,400 gallons, I think, because it was 11,000 pounds. So that would be 100 gallons a second. That's 100 gallons a second. So they have 2 of them. So that's 50 gallons a second. That's crazy.
And I would have thought the thing opens like a whale mouth or something big to get all the water. I mean, I guess it makes sense. It would stop the water if you had that. But I was surprised to see what a small little area, they're collecting the water with.
Yeah.
Mark, you knew that? That wasn't surprising to you, I guess?
It's not surprising that it's a small area. Like if you think about it, like when they drop that thing into the water, the relative speed of if that airplane is doing 120 miles per hour, that means the volume of water at that size is coming through at 120 miles per hour. It's an enormous amount of water just going through that small space. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it does not take long to fill up that volume of water at all. So it's cool. The forces are crazy too. Like to fill that up are pretty nuts.
Would you say they're the forerunner of the this type of technology for putting out fires? Would you say they're number one, or is there somebody that's like way better, or what would you say with all your database?
In terms of putting out fires, or just in what do you mean?
Like
Nah,
they're carrying more water.
They are number one. There's really almost no competition. There's like two other aircraft.
There is, yeah, there is. I think there's like there's a bigger airplane, but I think that only drops retardant, and you have to then go and, or if it does drop water, it has to go back and land at an airport and get filled back up. That's the beauty of this.
Yeah,
it's like a helicopter, where a helicopter could go and have a bucket and literally use a swimming pool. My brother-in-law is a firefighter, and he flies helicopters out in California, and he has at times saved homes by just like plucking water out of the swimming pool and dumping it on the house. But this thing can carry more, obviously a lot more water, because it's under wing-borne flight. And they can pretty much just like, if you look at ForeFlight, where one is operating, if it's they find the nearest lake, and they say, all right, we're just going to start sucking water out of this lake and dumping it on the fire, and they can do that for hours. So it's really effective.
They have 6 hours that this thing can fly constantly, picking up waters nonstop for 6 hours. And depending on how close the body of water is, the guy said on like a good occasion, like one of their best runs, every 6 minutes they would refuel the water and run it back. And if you run that every 6 minutes in like 6 hours, you're getting like what, 100 trips or something.
So
and the thing is, the other competition is like a Boeing or an Airbus. It has to land to refuel, get the water, so it takes a lot of time. And it costs a lot more. This aircraft is still expensive at $30 million, but that's way cheaper than competition. And any other aircraft that might be cheaper and does way less water. So the fact that it can rerun, in terms of how much you're actually using, it makes the most economical sense. It's actually number one by far. It's like a great product. Yeah.
The thing that really trips me out about this Bridger company, I haven't spent like my whole life deep diving it or anything, but what kind of trips me out about it is their market cap is only $113 million, and the thing cost $30 million, and that's not an AI video. Those guys are flying in a real super scooper. This data is not computing for me, right? Like look at Oklo. Their old CEO became Department of Energy in the administration, and they went from $10 to $180. Oklo, the micro nuclear reactors, right? And this one's interesting because Montana has 25% of the wildfires of California, which California is numero uno. But that just trips me out, dude. These things cost $30 million each. Their market cap is like 3 of these things.
I'm
right?
gonna tell you why.
Please.
They're not making any more of them. Like these airplanes aren't in they don't make them anymore. Like they built them and then they stopped making them.
That's right. In 2016, they stopped making them.
Bombardier, but I think sold the whole thing off.
No. I'll tell you what happened with them. It was de Havilland. 2016, they stopped making them. 2026, this year, they're starting to make them again. So this could be an interesting play. But de Havilland purchased it. So I don't know if Bridger Aerospace Group Holdings, if the stock benefits from that. But that is a great, interesting point, Anthony. And maybe we should dive further in on our own time and maybe make a separate video once we know more. But I didn't actually think of that. When you asked the question, are they the best in the space? After what I learned, without a doubt, they're the best in the space. But why does it not reflect that in their stock? That is true because they actually stopped, but they're coming back. These aircrafts are coming back.
If they can scale their operation, then yes. But how long is it going to take them to get more aircraft? I don't know. But I do know that they had stopped making them, which was their probably you only have so many fire trucks.
Yeah.
Farmer boy got a funny comment here. He got a funny comment here. That's real though. That's real though. I'm out there fishing. Oh shit.
How do people boating know not to get in its way? Maybe Game and Wildlife Police will have blocked it off. That is funny.
That'd be
That is a
crazy.
good
You're out
point.
there doing your fishing, and just out of nowhere, here goes a super scooper.
All right. So on that topic, again, movie trivia being a product of the 80s, there was a Richard Dreyfuss movie called Always, and it's about this exact thing where they were dropping retardant and stuff. And in the movie, they do that exact thing where these guys are out fishing and this airplane comes down and starts sucking up water. And then they have to jump out of the boat. They jump out of the boat before it lifts off again. So look up the movie Always.
Okay.
That reminds me though.
It's a romantic too for all the romantics out there. Watch it with your girlfriends or your wives or whatever.
All right.
Or your dog.
Although, if you think about it, there already are airplanes that land on the water. I remember being in Croatia once on like a boat, and a random airplane, those airplanes that land on water, just was by us landing. And I was thinking, like, also what they could just do that. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess the scooper can do that. Why not? If other amphibious aircrafts do. And also, like, learning from Mark, you have ultimate freedom when you're flying these personal aircrafts. It's not like a commercial aircraft where you have to have a planned and approved flight path, So that's pretty cool. But yeah, that is the Super Scooper. Very cool aircraft. I did not even know about it. And honestly, great point. I think we should look a little more into it. It's the best product. It solves a problem very well. It's like no one has this other product. It's kind of a monopoly in the space. It's quite interesting how the companies failed. Why is that? That's interesting actually to dive into a little bit and see if there is some opportunity there. I don't know. Maybe it failed because it was the wrong time, right. Maybe there weren't, I don't know what reasons, but they are making a comeback. I know. So it could be an interesting microcap play for anyone interested.
Yeah, the stock price did have a nice bump when those LA fires hit because they were talking about everything's burning. There's no water. So the stock did get a little run just because of that particular hype. I remember that.
Interesting. That's cool.
If somebody watches the full video, they also talk about how they dropped the water lower than everybody else because they were talking about the other guys dropped the water from a lot higher and they dropped the water from lower. That's
right. Yeah. The Airbus or Boeing or whatever other ones that have to also land to get the water again. Those are at 800 feet. There's only two competition, one at 800, one at 400 feet. And the Super Scooper gets to 100 feet. And that's talking about, where you drop the water to the fire. So the 100 feet is way more accurate and you're covering specific ground versus the 800 feet is very general purpose. You're probably not taking out the fire, but I didn't even know this was a stock until like 20 minutes before the stream. Anthony mentioned it. So I got to do a little more digging into that, but I was just going to present it as like an awesome aircraft that I haven't heard about. But yeah, I think that's enough for the Super Scooper. We'll move on to the next one. You want to guess what it is, Mark? I guess since you're not.
I don't know. I don't know now, so I'll just let you go.
The Blackbird SR-71.
Yeah.
An incredible aircraft. This super experimental aircraft that was actually used in pretty damn awesome aircraft. So this is what it looks like. The SR-71. Beautiful, beautiful aircraft. Not to be mistaken with, I always thought this was the Blackbird. This is actually called a B-2 Spirit.
That's the B-2 stealth bomber, yeah.
Stealth bomber, yes. I don't know why I thought it was a Blackbird. Maybe because of like Call of Duty games or something. Because there's like a Blackbird like strike or something you do, and the aircraft looks like that. I always thought, but this is just quick. Yeah, this is the B-2 stealth bomber he was talking about. Drops literal freaking bombs. How cool is that? Looks pretty awesome. But that is different than the SR-71. So, little history lesson with Mark today. Why is this such a revolutionary, long-range, going dark, and he's got the pilot? Okay, I don't know what these benefits are, but Mark is going to break it down to us. What is extraordinary about this aircraft? What is the history?
All right, so in in the 1950s, of course, we had we had this big competition with the Russians, and everything at that time, like we didn't have satellite technology, we didn't have capabilities to spy on what the Russians were doing. So first you had Kelly Johnson and the Lockheed Skunk Works. They developed the U-2 spy plane, and the U-2 spy plane's design was to pretty much fly at extremely high altitudes, and then at those high altitudes, jet fighters couldn't intercept the airplane, and their missiles actually couldn't go that high, so they just went above the threat. Well, that worked out great until Gary Powers got shot down over Russia, and it was pretty much known, like we were spying. We had to admit that we were spying on the Russians. It became this huge international incident. So the fix to it then was, okay, if we can't go, we need the next airplane. So the next airplane that Kelly Johnson dreamed up was the SR-71. And well, there's all sorts of different variants of it, because at first it was funded by the CIA, then the Air Force actually took it over. But when it was funded by the CIA, like the whole concept was, this airplane will be designed to fly so fast and so high that it'll outrun a missile. So if you were to shoot something at it, they would just push the throttles and nothing could keep up with it. So you just couldn't intercept it, because at that time we didn't have missile technology and capabilities. What's really badass, the coolest thing about the SR-71 is that it goes so fast that the skin, if it were an aluminum skin, it would melt. So they had to develop the airplane the airplane is actually made, the skin is titanium.
That's right.
And the skin also had to be porous, so that when it gets up to those temperatures, metal will expand when it heats up. Certain different metals expand at different rates. So they actually designed the skin to have holes in it, so that when it would get up to speed and the temperature of the airframe would get so hot, all those holes would close up. So the airplane would actually leak fuel sitting on the ground. Like if it were fueled up on the ground, it would be sitting there dripping fuel out because the skin had holes in it.
Wow.
The even more badass thing about the SR-71 is at that time in the 1950s, the only place in the world you could get commercially pure titanium was the Soviet Union. So the CIA set up all of these shell companies in Soviet-friendly nations and started buying titanium from them. Like we were literally buying titanium from our enemy to develop this our technology to spy on our enemy. It was sweet. It's awesome, like historical spy shit that we did in the 1950s and 1960s.
Very cool.
But the SR-71 was so profound. Like during the early war in the 1970s, they were using the SR-70. Like the president had to make decisions and get intelligence. And again, we didn't have satellite technology that was fast enough. So they were flying, the SR-71s were flying missions looking at like troop movement and tank movements of the Egyptians and all of the forces like that were trying to attack Israel. And they were able to use that as negotiating tactics to be like, no, you know, you want to have a peace deal, but your tanks are in this location. You got to move your tanks out of this location. And if it weren't for the SR-71, like the peace deals probably wouldn't have been able to have happened. So it was a very, very profound airplane for 20, 30 years.
Wow. Very cool. I'm going to share some fun facts I have about it, but I'm going to get to the comments here real quick. No, that was great. No, I want to hear more if you have.
Mark dropping knowledge.
Yeah. Do you know? Pharma Boy is asking if NASA still operates one.
I don't think they. I don't know. They used to, but I think that they've decommissioned it.
Yeah, I think I saw
it-
in 1998 or 99. I think it's in my fun facts. We'll get to. It was decommissioned. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. So.
Gary Powers went to Milligan College, not far from me and Mark.
Oh,
Cool.
nice.
And I think, ironically, we sourced the titanium from Russia. Wow, interesting.
Yep.
Z-Stacker, welcome. Damn, I missed an hour. I was out touching grass. Well, that's good. You can check it out later. We have a nice, awesome intro today. By the way, tell me, do you guys like these intros? It takes a lot of work. I have to make an AI song, and then I have to find a lot of clips and put them together and make just like an intro. And I spent a lot of time making a really funny intro, and it's actually going to be the outro. So stick to the end and watch that. It's going to be great. But yeah, I thought it was a little too corny to start off the video because we're talking about some super extraordinary aircrafts here. So yeah, quick fun facts about the SR-71. So it's official. Oh, wait, let me hide that. Okay, never mind. Its official speed record was Mach 3.32, set in 1976. Max altitude of 85,000 feet, approximately 16 miles high. That is really high. Primary mission was for spying, reconnaissance, which I think is pretty extraordinary in itself.
Which is what SR stands for.
Strategic reconnaissance.
Surveillance reconnaissance, I think. Or is it strategic?
Well, it says the primary mission is strategic reconnaissance, but surveillance kind of the same. Yeah. What is the 71? Is there any interesting thing with that?
It was just it was probably that I don't know. It's just the designation, like an F-15 or an F-35. It was just it was the number. It was the next number up, most likely.
I always, true. I always think it's funny. In the past, they name things with numbers like, the B2X 50,000 or 5,000 or 25,000, or they had like weird random like numbers to things. Nowadays, people don't do that. Just like Starship, like I don't know.
It's a military thing. It's born from the military.
Yeah, that's cool. So, crew. 2 pilots and reconnaissance systems officer, a pilot and a reconnaissance systems officer. So only 2 people. The engines, it had 2 engines, the Pratt & Whitney J58 continuous bleed turbojets. Probably some crazy engines. I don't know much about the J58.
The engines were highly modified. I'll say that.
Really? Like customized for them? Kind of? What do you mean modified?
They had to be, they had to be modified. Those engines were the first like scramjet. They had these tubes that went from that bypassed the burner section, because when the airplane got going so fast, the compression inside the like on the other side of the cone could be bypassed back to the back of the engine, and it basically, I mean, I'm getting into like probably too much into the weeds, but it was a really, really customized jet engine of its time to be able to attain those speeds.
Okay. I know I'll skip to the fuel type of the engine, which is pretty interesting. I didn't know about this, but the fuel type is called JP7, a custom low volatility fuel that won't ignite with a match. That's interesting.
Wow.
The fuel is so good that it basically won't light up. So I guess it's like super optimized for them to control it. Correct me if I'm wrong. Why would they need fuel that doesn't light up with a match? So it can't spark by any mistake? Like they can control. I don't know how the mechanism of how they use the fuel, but
it has to do with compression. Like you hear people talk about octane in their car. Like octane is an explosion or a detonation inhibitor. And so the engine operated under such high compression ratios and high pressures that they had to have that very special fuel. So if you compress the fuel really, really hard and then put a fire to it, it would ignite. But just in regular atmosphere, it's not going to ignite. It's just it's not gonna do anything.
Wow, very interesting. I guess that's what they use in rockets too, then.
No, rockets don't use jet fuel. They're not. Yeah, they're an oxidizer based, typically like hydrogen and oxygen, or like hydrogen peroxide and some other accelerant. It's
Okay.
different.
Do you know a lot about rockets too? Maybe we could do a whole episode in the future about
Not as much.
Okay.
We need a rocket expert. So.
All good. We'll stick to aircrafts. Construction. It was built 93% of titanium, sourced secretly from the USSR. That's right. Farmer Boy said that we ironically sourced the titanium from Russia. Oh, Farmer Boy, you know quite a bit of thing or two about this one, huh? By the way, Farmer Boy or anyone listening, any of you are welcome to join the stream ever. If you guys have anything you want to share, contribute, talk about, in the space, of course. But yeah, I know some people hit me up asking, I get people hitting me up all the time. What do you think of this penny stock or this ticker? If it's not in the eVTOL space, I won't mention it on the channel. You guys can feel free to hit me up and I'll tell you what I think, or, if I don't know about it, I'll look into it and maybe buy in. But if it's along the eVTOL space, more than welcome to have anyone jump on and we can chat. Just a quick side note. Yeah. So also the SR-71 defense tactics, simply accelerating and outrun incoming missiles. That's right. That's like Mark said, combat record, over 4,000 missiles have been fired at it. Mark, do you know how many missiles have actually successfully hit it?
I bet 0.
That is correct. 0.
0.
0 aircraft lost to enemy fire. 32 were built. 32 SR-71s were built, and 12 of them actually were lost in non-combat accidents, interestingly enough. But 4,000 missiles fired at it and nothing hit. That's pretty damn crazy. The service period was 1964 until 98, and then 99 with NASA. Not sure what that 1-year gap is, but yeah, that is the SR-71, a beast of an airplane.
And also, I'll add one more tidbit. The SR-71 set the coast-to-coast record. It took off from California, and I think flew to Washington, D.C. in like 58 minutes.
Really?
To give you a reference of how fast that airplane could fly, it did a dash across the country, and it did it in under 1 hour.
I don't know why I expected quicker, not gonna lie, but that is still extremely fast. But
That's
the only
fast.
reason,
That's all
the only reason I'm thinking is I compare it to Starship, as we talked about before.
Mm-hmm.
The goal of Starship with those chopsticks is to have like a chopstick in Japan and fly from like LA to Japan in like 40-50 minutes.
True. Yeah, and you will be able to if you can go into space.
Yeah, which is like 2-3 times further and about the same time. So that's interesting.
Oh yeah, yep.
But yeah, I guess obviously that's because they are going to space. Wow. Honestly, these speeds are a little bit hard to fathom, but it's definitely exciting to learn and see these things. I don't know. A lot of this is new to me, so it's very fun. But we'll move on, I think, unless there's anything else you want to share about the SR-71.
No, that's all I got.
Cool. So now, to some of people's favorites part of the show, we have. Wait. I haven't been using sound. How? Wait. Sorry, guys. Oh, all right. Honestly, I'm getting used to this. Okay, I'm getting used to this. There's just a lot here. Anthony's garlic epiphanies. It is the time for garlic epiphanies. Are you guys ready? Anthony has quite some things to share today.
Second garlic of the day.
Oh, that's right. We have Anthony eating a garlic. Wait, okay, wait. I got to put you on the big screen.
Second garlic of the day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, nice.
Gotta stay balanced.
It's too late. He usually has it in the morning, but you know.
Well, I did. This is my second one.
I know. You have to take it for garlic epiphanies, so that's why it's in the second one. Nice.
It's okay. It's forcing me to get extra healthy.
Anthony, are you eating the whole clove, or are you chopping it up now?
Good question. Similar with my nuts, the whole like putting them in water in the refrigerator for 24 hours for them to do the chemical thing. I'm like, I just eat it straight.
Just eat. Okay.
Yeah, I don't want too much of a good thing.
You got to get the Allison.
Yeah. I don't want to OD though. You know what I mean? These epiphanies are getting tough though. Like the definition of an epiphany is the fact that you've like all of a sudden come to realize something. I got Matan texting me like, "What's the epiphany this week?" You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm supposed to be able to cry on cue or something like that. You know? Oh fuck. You know. Okay.
Well, when you get an epiphany, when you get an epiphany, write it down, and then that can be your epiphany for the week. I mean, you definitely have to have one once every week.
I'm trying not to think, to be completely honest with you. I'm trying to get in a complete, total, just observation and action mode. Zero thinking. I'm practicing zero thinking. Just look and execute.
That's when you have the epiphanies.
Whew. Yeah, exactly. I accidentally had a thought. All right, here we go. So I was trying to like dissect with some maxims. You know, maxim is a saying that holds a fundamental truth with it. You know, do unto others as you want them to do unto you type things. And I was thinking a lot about how Brandon Robinson and Matan told me what the episode was going to be about today. So I started kind of thinking with that as my frame of reference. But I was thinking about how Brandon Robinson says, like, he would really want a Cav X7 when he was in the military. He said it 100 times. And I started thinking about that. And then I was thinking about necessity is the mother of invention. I was thinking about that. And then I was thinking about history repeats itself. So that's the one I kind of went with, was history repeats itself. And I realized that that's not completely correct. History repeats itself with a modifier of the current reality. Right? Because it's impossible for, you know, two things to occupy the same space. They would both vanish in this universe, right? So you can't necessarily say that history repeats itself. History repeats itself modified by the current circumstances, right?
There's a saying, history doesn't repeat, it rhymes. So
I like
kind of
that.
like what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. So so I was thinking about that. And then okay, pull up the video.
Okay. I actually have it ready for you. Here.
Boom.
With sound, right? Yeah. Should I play it right
Please.
now?
Please.
Right. Helicopters. The Sikorsky R-4, invented by Igor Sikorsky, became the first mass-produced helicopter. Its ability to take off and land without a runway and operate in very remote locations made it an ideal military aircraft. Sikorsky's helicopter first flew in combat in 1944. By the Korean War, helicopters began replacing liaison aircraft. Today, helicopters are still vital for rescue, transport, and reconnaissance. Number 6. Pressurized cabins. While the first aircraft with enclosed oxygen was...
We're good.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I heard that.
Although this is interesting too, that
it is.
Other than helicopters,
yeah,
we got pressurized cabins, synthetic oil, mobile phones, ballpoint pens. Just a quick note: super glue, jet engines, and radar, all inventions from the war. Go ahead.
Okay, so I heard that, and I was like, that kind of sounds like a Cavorite X7 commercial. Is what I was thinking. Is like you're able to land vertically and all that stuff. And I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. And then I was thinking this, Sikorsky guy. I was like, you know, he's seen birds. He probably realized that wings was the better way to go, but they did not have the technology at the time to maybe do it. Granted, next picture, 1960 Lockheed Martin Cheyenne.
a picture? You can upload. You can show the pictures. Which one are you talking
Oh,
about?
dope. Here we go. Okay, so 1960, you got the where'd it go? Here we go. So Sikorsky, he did that thing in 1939, right? Okay, so this is Lockheed Martin Cheyenne, 1960. So now we got vertical takeoff, right? And then they got the propeller in the back or whatever. So they're going forward, right? So we got some vertical lift and go. But for those who have been paying attention with their, Horizon Aircraft videos, Phil Kelly and Brandon have said that these things cost a lot of money to operate and they break down a lot and so forth, right? Just like the Osprey, $40,000 an hour or something crazy like that, right? So history repeats itself, right? So we got the vertical takeoff and landing with the original 1939 helicopter, right? And then we got this bad boy right here. History repeats itself. Boom. We got the 1956 rotor cycle. Whoa, that's cool, right? We're go 1956. Let's go for a ride.
This was practically the first VTOL in existence, by the way, to those who don't know. The Hiller. Very cool.
Yeah, it's crazy. But then what do we got today? Boom. We got some E-hang action. Oh, she's having a good time. She's having a good time, right? We got the Jetson 1 out there, Palo Alto, California, right? History's repeating itself, right? What's the one difference, right? The battery power, right? The ability to get the juice to go, right? So I was thinking about all this stuff and, the ones that won, right? Because obviously there's a lot of heavier than air methods of flight, right? Watch any old movie, the guy jumps off the building with some wings on himself. You know what I mean? There's like so many of paper wings and wooden airplanes and all kinds of stuff. But like, what's the one that won, right? What was the one that the military wanted? It was the helicopter. But I grant you, he probably knew that the wings were the way to go, but they couldn't quite figure it out quite yet. So I was just looking at all that. Same with the vacuum tube, the television, the transistor, the little nano microchip, all that stuff. There's, rhythm, history repeats itself in rhythms, right? So all that being said, and then if you just look at the Cavorite X7, right, with the simplicity, and it's like they just need the battery juice to get up and all that kind of stuff. I was just kind of tying all that in. And then I was thinking about, just like you said, maybe there could be a formula to this rhythm, right? If somebody really wanted to predict the future, they could go with history repeats itself, but what is the modifying factor in present time that is different than the past? You could isolate these things into two categories. What's the identical scenarios? What's the differentiators? And then you can map out like what are the salient, most important points of the differentiator, right? Because there's so much information. Like we got snake oil salesmen selling cars that fly, they're hollow, you know what I mean? This cat, right? And there's so much data, and it's crazy because just like Brandon said, we just got to differentiate ourselves from all these pure EVTOL plays. It's like you got the Jetson 1, you got this thing. There's just so much stuff. But what's so sick is one day, as the cookie keeps crumbling, they're going to have so much substantial progress, news, foundational things that people are like, okay, this is different. Like this is happening. So I was just looking at all that, just staying positive.
That's great. Thanks for sharing. I would love to interview that snake oil salesman from Aleph Flying Cars that you mentioned. I reached out, but he's not answering.
Of course.
I also have some epiphanies, but I don't want to make this section longer than it is. It is
Go
interesting.
pop a garlic, bro. Go pop one. You can hop in here.
Well, one of the things I was primarily thinking about, I wanted to show, but I think it's too much. Do you know what the first flying car looked like when people tried to make flying cars back in, 50s, 60s or whatever?
I'm going with very circular, like a Chevy Chevelle, little fan boost.
Basically a real car, and they just added wings. Very simple, like you would imagine. And the purpose was it's actually driving on the road until it got to a hangar. They would attach the wings. It wouldn't drive with the wings. It would drive without the wings. and then they'd attach the wings, and then it can go off the runway and start flying. You know, people didn't think flying cars would actually be vertical flying cars, right? And I mean, that is a big reason why we're in this space, because it matters and it makes a difference in where and what you can do with that. But most people actually think of it as like, you know, you're actually taking off, whether it be just on a road, like on a highway and starting to fly or something. And my epiphany was pretty much this: put aside the fact that we know and we like the design of hover. If you can just ask yourself, what do you actually want from a flying car? And then go from there and see what designs actually make sense. Then you can actually break down. And I want to maybe make a whole video of this breaking down. I'm thinking like, what is my opinion of the perfect flying car, and who actually has that? And I figured out the answer is absolutely nobody. Okay. Nobody has the perfect flying car, right? But a lot of companies have a little aspects of it. Okay. So for example, we just spoke about how being able to detach the fan so you can actually drive it like a car, right? So first of all, some companies are working about unfolding the fan, right? Hover is folding the fan, but it isn't autonomous. You have to manually do it by hand. And then it actually can't drive like a car because the fans are still, you know, it's taking a lot of space, right? If you can just hypothetically remove it, place it in a storage and use it as a car or something, that solves quite a problem. Some other aspects were, I don't know, just if you were to think of what is the perfect flying, another thing was the autonomy, right? If I want to buy a flying car right now, I can't, because I need to hire Mark to fly me around, and that's not so feasible. So I don't know, those were my two biggest things that I thought about that would solve flying cars to me, is autonomy. But obviously we're early on that. But some companies are working on autonomy, some are not. Some have folding wings, some don't. Some don't even have freaking wings, right? Everyone's doing things a little bit differently. And my point is, if you just try and think of like, what is ideal car, ideal flying car, you know, it might not be the best exercise, because that might not be the question. You don't need a flying car. You just need a flying personal mobility machine, right?
Can I
You can have separate a
tap
car
into
and stuff
this?
like that. Yeah.
Tap
Sorry,
in.
go ahead. That was now Mark's epiphany.
He's on garlic too.
So Mark, and now that I just popped this piece of garlic, it hit me. You're trying to marry something that would be more efficient to what is not efficient. Like if you have a flying craft, what is the point of a car? Like if you can vertically integrate to where you don't have to be going across the ground, but you're going to go up in the air and you can land anywhere, and then just walk to your location, it renders a car less efficient. And so why would you want something that would fly and be more efficient to then be something that's going to be less efficient?
That is a
If you can just
great
always
point.
if you
That
can
is a
just
great
always use
point.
your flying craft.
I got a question for Mark.
It would be like taking a fish that can swim through the water and then be like, hey, we want to take a fish and we want to marry it to a lobster.
Mm-hmm.
The lobster just always crawls along the seafloor, right? But the fish actually gets to go through. How much faster is a fish? It can go anywhere in the ocean at any time, as where the lobster is just stuck
No,
to the
you're
seafloor.
actually right.
He can't fly.
Because if you look at the people making flying cars, like the snake oil salesman, we said that thing can only go like 20 to 50 miles or so. I mean, right now it literally goes like just like 20 feet, literally, if you've seen all the videos. But their goal is like maximum 99 miles, maybe, right? And a lot of these other small flying cars, so to speak. Yeah, because it isn't efficient for that. That is a great point. But then what do you say about autonomy?
Yeah.
What do I say about autonomy? Autonomy just autonomy pretty much allows the lobster to then be flyable as well. If we think about it, we're all lobsters, right? We're stuck on the ground. We can't fly. we're in this ocean of air, but we're stuck to the ground. But if we have autonomy, then anybody could get in some sort of a flying mobile and be like the fish.
That's funny. Okay, I have a
I think
question.
it'd be,
I have a question for Mark.
I
Okay,
gotta lay off the garlic, boys. I gotta lay off the garlic.
dude.
no, it's great. I love these
EMC
analogies.
squared. Okay, I'm gonna say computers. Obviously, that's AI and stuff. I'm gonna say computers and batteries, right? So we just saw the Krzyzewski. They're like, wow, 1939 to present time. There's fuselages, there's propellers, there's the basic components to put something together. What would you say is like the X factor currently that gets us to that next realm, right? Like, why is it that we can do this, right? I'm going to say computers and batteries, right? That's the main difference, right?
It's batteries.
Yeah,
it's not computers. Yeah. It's not computers. It's batteries and just lightweight materials.
And I'll add to that also regulation, which we're gonna get to eVTOL news a little bit, but
and regulation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But that's the thing though, because it's like the batteries, right? Okay, everybody gets something and they run with it. The pendulum swings too far or not far enough, right? Some of these guys got thousands of pounds of batteries, right? It's the porridge is too hot, the porridge is too cold, or the porridge is just right, right? Mr. Brandon Robinson, right? You know how we're doing the Cavorite X7. That seems right on the money, right? Because you got to take these batteries, right? It's like, what can you do with the battery? Like, we could make the whole damn thing out of a battery. We could be flying a battery. You know what I mean? Like, so that's what's funny about it. It's like if we're trying to predict like what's going to happen, like these guys that are watching big ass TV and they're like, oh, we're going to flat screen TVs here in a little bit. Like, how do you predict something like that? It's like the X factor is the battery. Who's using the battery? The right side of the pendulum, right? It's we're just using it for the lift, 100 pounds of battery. So it seems pretty straightforward to me.
I mean, there is a lot of safety aspects to it, right? This is the Wild West. What's the right design that's going to get approved? I was seeing something with airplanes. I learned that, and maybe Mark can speak more on this, but the FAA, to get an approval on a design and actually get, I guess the full approval, they need to make sure it is safe to like 0.0000, like 6 or 7 zeros or whatever, one, right? Which basically comes out to something like one crash in every 100 years or something like that.
You have to prove for something that is flight critical, you have to have a 10 to the minus 10. It has to be designed to not fail to 10 to the minus 9th.
Yes.
So that is it pretty much is like you or if it's going to be a safety critical item. Otherwise, you have to have backup items that will, if that fails, then you have a backup. So, for example, your like any eVTOL, you can make the claim, okay, if the batteries fail and just all of these motors shut off, the thing can still fly and come down and land like an airplane. Not efficiently, but you have a chance to to survive, compared to like, you just can't go to the FAA and say, you can't go to the FAA and say, hey, we're going to design the system, and if this one thing fails, it's guaranteed everybody's going to die. The FAA would be like, nope, that we're not going to approve that.
And I was a little surprised to learn these things, but it makes me respect and appreciate more like the FAA and the fact that they're very rigorous in this, because these things need to be safe. It's a matter of life or death.
Yeah,
but the numbers that he spoke about, the 9th degree, the math, something I saw, it came out to like the aircraft has to be safe, that where if it flies X amount of times per year or whatever, it would be like 1 in 100 years it would be crashing if you have hundreds of these or whatever, right? The numbers are crazy. But then if you actually look at the statistics, it's pretty insane to see. I saw something like in the last 4 years, there was like 4,000 airplane crashes, not commercial super safe, but private small aircrafts. Why do they crash all the time? It's actually insane. And it comes down to the pilots. All 100% of those crashes are all due to the pilot.
It's
then
not
when I realized that, I'm like,
100%.
autonomy is
As a pilot, it's not 100%, but pilot error is a very, very large percentage of aircraft accidents.
yes.
So,
Well,
yeah.
it in the video I saw it was 100%, but it doesn't matter. It's
I would
we're
challenge
not
the
saying
video,
we're not
but I hear what
saying
you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
yeah. Anyways, Rad Hardtech, who are you? Is this Vastian C? Because this is this profile picture was Vastian C or Crispy. Welcome to the show. I think this is Crispy. My epiphany this last week was nano dimensions is now worth it. Do you guys know anything about nano dimensions before we move on from epiphanies?
Is that ticker symbol NOX? The guys that were partnered with NVIDIA, right? They're like one
I'm
of
not sure.
the-
I thought he was talking about nano dimensions like as an industry, not a specific company, but maybe. He
Maybe.
says that is why Mark is the man. Y'all need to start thinking in third dimension.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
that comment came in when Mark made me realize that
I was using
comment
my
on flying cars was silly. We don't need flying cars. Yeah, that's when he said that. But Sparks Acoustics, welcome back. Batteries, graphene by hydrograph is going to lightweight U.S. Air Force airframes and the batteries as well as make them more conductive. Check back on this space in 5 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Graphene from hydrograph. All right, interesting. We'll take a
There's
look.
a lot going on with graphene. Graphene right now is there's a lot of chances where graphene will become batteries right now are chemical. It's a chemical reaction that's making the electrons go from the anode to the cathode. With graphene they're doing a lot of research to where you can then it'll be more like a capacitor, and a capacitor is an electrostatic where you're actually storing the electrons just in in a medium. And with capacitors, you can charge things extremely quickly, but and they give off an enormous amount of energy. But capacitors also have very low energy density. So if you can but there's a lot of thought with graphene batteries or graphene capacitors which would make it would be a complete game changer.
Interesting. I hear
And
a lot of
extremely
different
lightweight.
technologies. I've heard of. I made a website for a battery company. Actually, they're working on like space stuff, and they're making batteries out of like phosphate or something. And whoever helped them make it was the founder and inventor of lithium-ion batteries. So it sounds really legit to me when I hear everyone talk about these. But there's so many different ways to make batteries, and I guess different use cases for them too. What I do know about batteries is that there is a lot of snake oil salesmen in the space, or at least fake promises. So I would be careful. But if what you're saying is right, definitely would be a very good play. By the way, it is Crispy, and he said it is NNDM. So you were correct, Anthony. Paul O'Brien says batteries are only going to get lighter, cheaper, and more energy dense, which bodes well for the Cavalry X7 cost and range. I guess we should move to eVTOL news and start talking about hover and some other things. So this is a sponsored segment, eVTOL news. Where is this? Yes, every week we're going to be talking about what's going on in the space. This is brought to you by brightcatdata.com. Check them out for your big data on real estate. But we are going to be talking about some data on eVTOLs today. We have some big news from Hover, actually. But I think the biggest news of the week would be SkyDrive. Have you guys heard of SkyDrive? No? Mark?
No, not heard of them.
All right. SkyDrive is actually in Japan. I've heard of them before, but never really thought they're all that. I don't know. Their aircraft looks just like a drone. I'm not a biggest fan of these drone-looking helicopters with just like a bunch of propellers. It feels like very, I don't know, like just an inefficient design. Like not much thought went into designing this to make it really efficient. More just like let's make it fly, but it works. and they just received in Japan, it is, which is back to talking about regulation. I don't know how strict they are, but hey, pretty good on them. They got their approval, their certification for Japan, which is called the ADO, Approval Design Organization. It's a certification in Japan Civil Aviation Bureau under the Ministry of Land, Infrastructure, Transportation, and Tourism. That is the biggest news that came out this week, at least to my knowledge, or at least also that I think is interesting, because this just shows I care less about all these other companies. I don't really care what SkyDrive does in Japan, but the fact that they're getting approved, these things are actually going to start taking flight, being going to be, proven that they're commercially viable, whether it's not here in the US yet and across the world, it's still good news for the sector as a whole. So something to highlight, pretty cool, pretty nice for them. And honestly, I like Japan, very forward, tech-driven country. So good on them. Yeah. And Hover, our favorite company that we always talk about. Anthony, you probably know a little bit more about this than me. What is going on in Hover? What is this new partnership all about? While I pull it up over here.
So I learned about it, I think, this morning, because this morning seems like so far ago. Maybe it was yesterday. I don't know. But anyway, somebody put it on the Reddit. It wasn't even like news on like main news lines or anything like that. But somebody popped it up there, and damn sure enough, they partnered with somebody. I checked out the website. I sent it to you. They do a lot of like testing of like, engines and machines and, all kinds of stuff like that to make sure it hits the specs or something like that. It's a big company.
That's right. We have here an image to show. It is it's this one, I think, correct?
Yeah.
MDS gas turbine.
Yeah.
I guess I'll quickly read through this. So today we are excited to welcome the team from Horizon Aircraft to our Ottawa office as we begin an exciting new chapter together, helping shape the future of flight through next generation eVTOL technology. Our partnership brings together two Ontario-based aerospace innovators, combining Horizon's forward-thinking aircraft development with MDS's expertise in high-performance test systems. This collaboration demonstrates the capability of Canadian companies to deliver globally competitive aerospace solutions. Horizon Aircraft is pushing the boundaries of advanced air mobility with a hybrid electric eVTOL platform designed for real-world performance. Its innovative fan-in-wing system enables operators from spaces as small as tennis courts before transitioning to conventional wing-borne flight for superior speed and range. I never heard someone say that they could take off from a tennis court. That's pretty cool. Very small. MDS is excited to support this project with advanced testing solutions and purpose-built test rig infrastructure. We are proud to support fellow Canadian companies and help advance the future of safe, efficient, and sustainable flight. Very cool stuff. Interesting partnership. I don't really know what it means. What actually does that,
I watched the video on it. They basically have facilities all over the planet. They got them all over different continents. And they basically, my understanding is they run people that they're working with, machinery and engines and so forth through their stuff to test it out and everything like that. That's my basic understanding of it,
Okay. I don't know if there's any particular part in the video you want me to play it. I'm just playing without sound here as we kind of go through it.
Yeah,
but
it looks like they build test fixtures, which any aerospace development
test
is going
rigs.
to
Yeah,
need facilities like this to test out. It's basically just doing a lot
okay. Yeah, I see they're
this is who they're subcontracting out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's great. This is important stuff. We need to, it's great that they have partnerships and companies want to work with them versus saying no, right? Like I spoke about the Strato launch dual fuselage aircraft. They wanted to do something with SpaceX and SpaceX basically said no. So it's a good sign that the companies are partnering with them, and like it said in the thing, they see, they're pushing the boundaries in Canadian aerospace. So yeah, this is good news. I don't know, anything you guys want to highlight about it? Is there something else actually there is some other hover stuff I'll get to, but yeah, about this partnership, I guess
The Reddit,
we'll see.
Reddit's getting really good. I'm seeing more and more people posting in there about like, I'm really happy I found this subreddit. I got into the company and stuff like that. Thanks for all the deep dives and stuff. 'Cause there's a lot of guys in there putting a lot of really smart stuff. It's quite good, marching along this parallel with the horizon progress. It's very good.
Yep, that's right. And actually there was one interesting post on the Reddit that would be great to kind of showcase and help out with this today, because if you remember, I was saying every week now, and I didn't put a little part on the bottom for it, but this will be maybe part of eVTOL news. We said we're going to review Hover's careers page and see if there's any changes. I took a screenshot from last week. It looks like nothing has changed. We have the same jobs. Nothing has changed since last week, which is fine. We have a lot of jobs here, but we have actually 4, 8, 9 jobs. But someone did post on the Reddit that was pretty interesting. That right now we have 9 jobs. This is April 25th, and I think on March, not sure when in March here. Hold on, I'm gonna pull this up. We had only 1 job posting, March 7th. Here, if you go on the Wayback Machine, only 1 job for graduate engineer, aerospace engineer, or technician, which I think is still on there. So we have 8 new jobs from a month and a half's time. Pretty damn crazy. They're hiring like crazy, and that is a really good signal. Mark, maybe you can speak a little about that. What does that tell when a company is hiring, not just PR folks, they're hiring engineers? Isn't that a good sign for Hover, right?
It clearly backs that they have a need to further their design, and hiring up people is a function of your program plan and executing on your program plan. So I would expect, as long as they have funding, they will continually be hiring people to further get the like right now they are developing just their first aircraft that is not for FAA certification. They will be hiring a lot more people in the future, once they start getting into like legitimate certification design. And that also ties in with them going to like partnering with different test houses that have the ability. A lot of times when you need to test something, the test, it's not just like you have to test something. It's not like you pull out a ruler and you say, yes, I got to test. I got to measure that this is 6 inches, and I got a ruler, and I trust that the ruler is 6 inches, can tell me what is 6 inches and what is not 6 inches. When it comes to like really high-end testing, these test houses have the capability where you do not, as a company, want to do that in-house. Like, you don't want to be vertically integrated on collecting your data. You actually go to different companies that have that capability already in place, and they have the know-how and how to do it. So but along the same lines, just it's continual progress. So I'll say, yeah, the fact that they're still hiring, and that if you're seeing more and more, but also too, if those jobs start going away off their website, it's also saying that they're most likely fulfilling them, which is an even better sign.
That is true. Win-win. Great. That's great news for all the Hover folks listening. If there's anything else you guys want to talk about Hover, let me know, but we have other stuff to get to. I think that's enough for Hover for eVTOL news.
I'll just say last thing. It was looking strong. All the eVTOLs were red on Friday, strong. Hover's up like 50% in the last 3 weeks. from March 30th to present time, $1.30 up to the $1.92, I believe we hit on that Friday, looking quite good. Many investors getting in. Not everybody on earth is a pump and dump penny flipper. There's some people that don't mind getting into a good company and waiting this year or whatnot for the tax benefits. This sounds quite good to a logical investor looking for quite good quality companies such as Hover. Thank you.
Yes. And to add to that, Vast says, I don't know what to call it. You keep changing your name now. He does. I do a lot of DD by looking at job postings. I like that. Just like we said, it is a good way to identify where a company is at. Yeah, he also says, I like AMPX, but not invested, too destructible. UMAC is going to start assembling battery packs, but sell agnostics.
Man, Crispy's a different breed, man. Crispy's a different breed. This dude could work for the CIA or something like that. He comes across like CIA kind of cat. Like, this dude's on a new level, man. Crispy, no joke.
Mark, you know what he's talking about to you here? Remember the bathtub. What is he saying?
I kind of wonder if it's I think back when I was contributing to the Hustle Brothers a year ago, we talked about, there was a guy that built a drone, he basically built a flying drone out of his bathtub. And there's video of him like flying this thing, and he like goes to a store. He was in Europe, probably like Belarus or some place.
What does that
in
mean,
Eastern
out
Europe.
of his bathtub? Out of bathtub parts, or like
look it up?
Like
Get on YouTube.
No, but how people say I started a company in my garage. It's like he started it like sitting in the bathtub and building it. What does that even mean?
He's sitting in a bathtub which has like just a pad in it, and then he built, he bolted on these bars and then put motors on it and flew it. Look it up on YouTube.
Wow.
Just look up like bathtub drone. You could probably share it with everybody here if that's what he's talking about. I think that's the reference he's talking about.
Okay. Maybe
unless I at one point talked about me in a bathtub, but I don't recall I ever did. So I don't bathe.
I can't find it. I see building a flying bathtub. Someone literally built a drone from out of a bathtub, but not.
Yeah, that was it. That was it.
Oh, that's it. Oh, okay.
Yeah. He built a drone out of a bathtub.
Oh, okay.
And he flew it. You can see it.
Let's share it right here in a second. Okay. I thought he built it in the bathtub, which is next level, building in a garage. Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Fast forward this.
Oh, it was in the intro here. You could see the bathtub.
There you go. Yeah, that's it. And he as the video continues to go, I think he flies the thing and then goes and buys a sandwich or something, or buys some groceries.
Wow, really? He went outside with this? I mean, I don't know.
Keep going in the video. Yeah.
No, I don't see them outside.
Or this is it?
This is it.
There's got to be more to this, because there's video of a guy flying a bathtub.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Wow, crazy. What a concept. What a useless concept. I mean, what was the idea behind this, honestly?
I mean, it's to prove it's proof of everything, to be like,
all right. That's a lot of weight. Bathtubs are heavy.
I feel like it's something Mark Rober would do.
That's
Mark Rober? I don't know. He doesn't know Mr. Beast, so he doesn't know Mark Rober, probably.
I know who Mr. Beast is now. You've introduced me to him.
Mark Rober is like the Mr. Beast of engineering. He just does cool engineering stuff. You might like him, but I guess he's more for kids, but he makes some cool content. What do you all think about the Joby LA deal? Tennis court is interesting. Rich folks have them, but only poor rich folks have them outside. A little confused what you mean by that last part, but Joby LA deal. What is the Joby LA deal? Actually,
the Joby LA deal is they just signed a hoverport contract at a neighborhood, I think, or an actual development with a high-end development in LA.
I need to take a look at that. I actually did not. That did not pop up on my
I think
radar.
that was announced. It was announced just a few days ago.
Mm.
They're partnering with a developer to put in a vertiport at a I can't remember the name of it. It's some high end place in Los Angeles, and they didn't have to buy an airport to do it.
Nice. That's right. They also partnered, we spoke about last week, they partnered with an airport in Dubai, and Dubai built the first vertiport. It's fully pretty much done and ready to go. And they can use it. They didn't have to buy the airport there. That's a great point. Exactly. It's way better than eHang. Hover, I think, is making all excellent key moves now to set itself up down the line for near bulletproof operations. Yep. It's a shot across the bow from Archer. The bay, I guess, from Archer. I actually didn't know about that. I need to get I'm working on building me a little AI agent to make sure I'm up to date with all the information, and I can give you guys all the eVTOL news of the week, because this is actually my favorite segment, to really inform you guys what's going on in the space. But yeah, I like to learn also and see what all the other smaller companies are doing. So we have here Volocopter had some news. I don't know if you guys know about Volocopter, German-based aircraft company. We've spoken about it on the channel sometimes. I like their aircraft. They have a really cool-looking aircraft, but now they just unveiled a new aircraft. It looks like they were saved from insolvency back in 2025, so now they had to maybe build a new aircraft. It is a two-seater in the ultra lightweight category, which is pretty damn cool. That means you won't have to have a pilot. Anyone can fly this thing. And I don't know how they're doing it ultra lightweight. To be ultra lightweight, you have to be under 250 pounds. This does not look like it's under 250 pounds. Even other aircrafts like Pivotal say they're ultra lightweight, but if you actually look at their numbers, they're above 250 pounds. They're like 308 or something. So they're technically trying to be ultra lightweight, but they haven't achieved it yet. So I don't know. Good luck to Volocopter. Let's see how it goes. Pretty cool looking aircraft. I said I don't like the drone-based top looking, but this actually has like a unique circle shape to it. And I've always liked Volocopters, like circle tree looking aircraft.
If I can give an aerodynamic critique of this, if you're going to use up that much space up top to have all those tiny little rotors, why don't you just have two counter rotating rotors to take up the exact same space, and it's going to be far more efficient.
Can I ask you a question? So the hover situation is very clear cut to me. Like, obviously it goes up and then it goes forward, transitions. I have a question, because the rotor ones, the Joby and the Archers, I get a little bit confused sometimes, and I don't know if other people do too. But like, I've seen videos of Archer going up and moving around and stuff like that. But then I keep hearing about people talking about like they're waiting for them to do a transition or something like that. How is that different than what they've done? Because I thought they've done that. Is there like are there gradations of transition, or what am I missing here?
I think there's autonomous transition, which Archer had been doing for a long time, and then there was actually doing a transition where a human being, where there's a pilot in the loop, and they're actually controlling the transition, and actually a human doing it, manipulating the controls and flying the aircraft from hover through transition and then back again, compared to just have the computer do it.
What's the difference?
Interesting you say that, because that's okay. Let him answer. Go ahead.
Well, but you like if they did it autonomously, like, couldn't they do it with a person? Isn't it kind of like a 99.9999% chance it's going to work if you can do it autonomously? What would be the difference?
No, because your flight controls are completely different. Your input is now the human is the computer, so you have to have your whatever you're controlling, those they're called inceptors. You have to have those linked into your flight control computer, and you have to have it programmed properly to tell what you need everything to do, compared to you could just have a program write it, or you can just use a simple drone program to mimic it. So I don't know. what is happening in Archer and what has prevented them from doing the pilot transition. I think they have done it now. I've stopped kind of following them. I think they have done a pilot transition, but they said they were going to be doing it
No,
almost a year ago.
Hover?
and
Who are you talking about?
Not Hover.
Archer.
Oh, Archer.
I'm talking about
Oh,
Archer.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you asking about Hover transitioning with a pilot?
Archer,
'Cause
Archer, yeah.
Yeah. So
Interestingly enough, on the last news for eVTOL news of the week is Vertical Aerospace.
I was just
did
going to ask about
exactly-
them.
Oh, so you know about this? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was really cool. This was
that's
4
right.
days
They
ago-
transitioned.
4
Right?
days ago. Yeah, you saw this? Pretty
Mhm.
cool. Honestly, shout out to them, man. Every week
Yep.
now they have been. There's not one week I missed that I haven't had Vertical Aerospace news on eVTOL news, because every week there's something new going on with them. Last week it was they got saved with 850 million. Before that they were about to go bankrupt, and now we have transition. I mean, it's kind of crazy how every week is a completely different swing with them. But this is a piloted transition, as you guys were talking about. Pretty damn cool. They actually had their first transition flight also like recently. But now they did it again, piloted. So yeah, pretty cool.
Can we look it up? Has Archer transitioned yet? I don't know if they have or not.
Yeah, look that up. Like for me, just being a layman in the aerospace, it's almost like a Tesla self-driving car or you driving it. From my perspective,
That's the exact. Yeah, good.
But from my perspective, it seems easier for a human to drive a car than it is to set up the computers to do it. So it almost seems like in aerospace, wouldn't it be easier for a human to fly it than to set up all the computers? That's the part that trips me out, because we had people driving cars before we had that. So wouldn't that make it, easier?
Yeah, it's different now, because when you have to integrate the pilot in, remember I don't know how to explain it properly, but actually all of the human factors and design that goes into something like this is difficult. There's a lot that has to go into it, because now if the pilot is doing it and something goes wrong, you have to, it's not like the pilot can be like, oh, take over computer and fly for me. They have to get themselves out of it. So there's a whole bunch of safety features that have to go on. Is this the actual transition with the pilot, or is this the...
Nope, this is just transition flight. I don't think it has a pilot. You can't really see a pilot in the window, and they don't mention pilot anywhere. I don't think they have a pilot transition flight, so that would make Vertical Aerospace a little ahead of them. In some aspect, right?
So you've got Joby and you've got Vertical, who has now transitioned.
Yeah, but Archer does.
I think
have
I get it. I think I get it. If you run it through the simulators enough and it looks all dialed in, then you could put it in, and then you could be like, we know it's going to happen, versus like if you're like, all right, Joe, hop in there, fly it. It's like Joe's first mistake. There goes your, $20 million full scale toast. So if that's the line of demarcation of their choice, that makes sense. On television, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. I can get down with that.
Oh wow!
It comes down to risk.
This is
okay. That makes sense. Not practicality necessarily doing it, but the risk. I get it.
Oh, I missed this comment. Vast is asking, Crispy's asking you, Mark, do you know much about aerospace electronics? Yes, he does. He is an aerospace engineer. Conformal coding and poddings, I may need to reach out. Yeah, reach out to him, I guess.
Reach out to him about that.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I'll reach out to you on X.
By the way, speaking of X, I was just gonna say, I am now on X, guys. You guys can follow me at xschmape. And it looks like I'm on X. I'm starting to live stream from now on. Every time I do a live stream here, it'll also go to X, so you guys can follow me there to keep up to date. Pretty cool. First live stream there. I already there's 8 people watching. That's nice. So another channel, we're growing. But I will stick to YouTube. This is my format. I'm not really going to be posting like much on X, but I will be doing the live stream. So check it out if you want to stick around. And I think that's enough for news eVTOL news of the week, unless there's something you guys have. He's saying Beta is doing a deal in SLC. Not too sure what SLC is, but yeah, Beta. I'm less interested about Beta typically. Also, they're not public, but they are honestly Beta. Beta is a good company in the space. But let's move on to the final segment. We have Site of the Week. My favorite part. I'm excited for Site of the Week. I'm not sure how to do this, but we now have a little background. I need to improve it. It's not even that nice. It was whatever, generated quickly with AI, but so I'm going to screen share here in a minute the Site of the Week. I don't think anyone here has seen or heard of this company, and this is technically not an eVTOL company, although I said I'll only be doing eVTOL sites. It is an aircraft, and I think it is pretty extraordinary. I don't think it would be considered super experimental, but possibly. Have you heard of flying whales? This is
like dirigibles.
I was like a Zeppelin, lighter than air flight.
Yeah, it is a lighter than air category, correct. It is supposed to revolutionize air cargo transportation, like moving, literally, like it can move things. Look at this thing. It is moving, transporting. What is that called? Wind turbines. Those things are huge. What? It's supposed to take a whole power grid. Wow, that's incredible. Yeah. So, all right. So this is website of the week because they have a beautiful website, but also this is one of the coolest products I've seen.
Damn.
So let's just check it out a little bit. But look at this thing moving in and out shipping containers. Yeah, super cool. Their website's really, really awesome too. Look at this. This is a beautiful scroll. You're scrolling through and you're learning about
what is the name of the company?
Flying Whales.
Okay.
I like that name too, like whales flying in the air. So what do? They help support with power, so wind turbines, and as you saw, the grid, pretty damn cool. Humanitarian aid, industry and logistics, flying care. Wow, hospital, bro. Is that a supposed to be like a real hospital, like a whole sleeve of? That's crazy, like a whole part of a hospital. That's so cool. Wood, I guess, transporting wood, and there we go. In construction, pretty cool use cases. Awesome little way to display also, like, what they're doing. I love that scroll. And by the way, this whole segment is brought to you by my company, Asulin.com. If you need a website, damn it, my AI camera. If you need a website, I make really cool websites. So that's why I'm going over every week other really cool websites in the space. So if you see something like this that you want, let me know. I can practically build this website. But but enough about that. That's just my sponsor segment of the week. And yeah, this is just an awesome awesome website to display. So look, they have, this is the manufacturer. Wow, their operator. So LCA60T, terrible name, but that's the name of the aircraft. I guess this is where they manufacture it. By the way, beautiful page transition. I love when you click, it doesn't just take you there. It has like a scrolling effect, which is pretty awesome. Inspiring the aeronautical revival with flying whales.
Where is the manufacturing facility? Or where do they say it's at?
I don't know. I've never seen this video. Maybe we can check this out. I don't know where it's based in.
Probably Europe.
So obviously they don't have a facility just yet. This is all renders. But it looks like it could be one of the biggest facilities in the world once it's constructed, because this thing, obviously
that's the problem with dirigibles, is
the French company.
Facility.
True.
It's a French company.
I didn't mention, but the Strata launch dual aircraft website, the aircraft we saw before, they had to build a custom hangar for it because it wouldn't fit in a regular hangar. So yeah, just like this, he's saying like the dirigible. Look at this facility they have to build. Pretty crazy, honestly. Looks really cool in the rendering. So, yeah, I can only imagine how expensive this can get. I wonder who's actually behind this, who's funding this. If it's it must be a billionaire. You don't just start a blimp company, I guess. You call it dirigible. I didn't know that's the term. Interesting. Wow, look at these. All right. I don't know if it's enough about that. They have a lot to them. I just want to maybe showcase a little bit more. Let's see. Flying care is interesting. Are they going to be moving hospitals? Look at this. Okay. Make healthcare accessible in isolated areas. Half of the world's population does not have access to the care they need. By the way, absolutely love also how simple the website is in terms of the copy. Very direct, very big, makes you actually like read it, right? Most people don't read the small text, but it's not a lot of small text, and if you're interested, you're reading it. So I like how simple it is. They're not trying to bombard you with too much. In fact, they're showing a lot of images, which is what people really want to see. Especially everyone here. Like the reason YouTube is bigger than X is because people are trying to watch and not read.
Right.
A mobile hospital to overcome medical isolation. Also, when you highlight over the text, look at that. It shows like a cloud behind it. Small detail, but like this is really cool. Like this highlighting text is
do that again. Do that again. Go up to mobile hospitals. I want to see the cloud. Oh yeah, you're right. Little details. That's real subtle.
Little details, but that's what makes websites premium to others. Very cool. And also these random little dots in the background, even when you're scrolling, they move. They move very, very slightly, but these little slight things is what makes websites feel premium. So I'm going to give a little bit like my consultation on websites like this as I go. So if anyone here is building their own website, you can take any of my advice as you like. But also nice thing they have here, discover also our social responsibility. Instead of just ending the page, you're like, here, go to the next page, right? Because they have a lot of different pages on their website. It's kind of a maze. And honestly, I kind of want to explore the whole website. They have beautiful images displaying their aircraft and what they do. So yeah, I guess that's a little bit enough. I can learn about this and scroll on my own. I don't know how interested you guys are. Are people still here? Yeah, we got 19 folks. Nice.
It's a really nice website. It makes a lot of sense why you chose it for best website of the week. It's very nice. Use case is unpenetrable. We drop anything.
I chose it. There's a lot of awesome websites, but I chose it because it's a pretty extraordinary aircraft. That's and that's kind of what today's agenda is all about.
As long as it's not too windy out.
Damn, I didn't think of that. But this is not an all-weather machine. You're saying they can't be flying in?
Yeah, you're not gonna be flying this thing in 50 knot winds. Like you gotta have calm winds to have it effective.
That's pretty interesting because they're literally trying to deliver wind turbines. So aren't those places supposed to be windy?
Case in point, yeah. Or they were doing putting in a big like you just gotta plan ahead. You want to make sure there's a big high pressure system over the mountains before you go fly it in a mountain canyon. And the winds pick up 50 knots and it blows the dirigible into the mountain.
Wow.
Yeah, that one video they just had on there about them dropping the what's that, the tanker thing that goes in the back of the truck, semi-truck tanker,
the
cargo box?
Bro, this is supposed to be picking up a SpaceX rocket. Did you see that out of the launching pad? That's incredible.
It could theoretically do it.
Hypothetically, yeah. Whoa, okay.
Yeah, that's crazy though. Like our box is so important to catch this cargo ship mid-route. That's pretty wild. Those cargo ships only go about as fast as a bicycle? Do you know that?
Yeah,
those cargo ships
slow.
go crazy slow, man. Yeah.
A bicycle? Wow, no wonder it takes weeks to get goods delivered from China.
Yes.
Bicycle.
Yeah, but there are so many cargo containers on a single cargo ship. Next time I'm in
Cargo.
Savannah and I'm down by the river, Savannah is a large port city where those cargo ships come up and down the river. And you can be on like a 7-story building, like a rooftop bar. And when one of those goes by, they're still looking down at you. It's crazy.
Wow.
Like you're still looking up at the cargo ship
Yeah.
as it goes by you, and you're 7 stories up.
That is crazy. I didn't know. Wow, very cool. Yeah, these are some
It's cool
extraordinary.
concept if they can make it work.
Yeah, if they can make it work. It seems like it's a new company. I actually don't know how long they've been around. Let me see here in their company page.
I think it's a great idea. If we have another great flood, and all of Earth, just like in the Bible, you could put like a helium generating machine on top of like, Mount, Fuji or something. And then we just have a whole bunch of these things floating around and mankind can survive just floating around. Just keep loading up with the lighter than air modes of flight.
Not to get biblical, but the whole reason for the rainbow is to show that it was God's promise that he would never flood the earth again.
I didn't know that. Never heard that.
So yeah, that's.
I thought it was drunk leprechauns trying to take your gold.
It's that too.
Well, definitely super cool what they're doing. This is a pretty cool video. I appreciate that they're doing this because there's not much innovation in the lighter than air space. In fact,
So
there's been quite a lot of blimps, and now there's not anymore. I feel like there's certain things that it's like we don't see anymore. Like limousines. I used to see a lot of limousines. They're never around anymore. Wonder why. But
I'm gonna pick this apart just a little bit though. The challenge that you have with lifting extremely heavy items is you have to think about physics. If you're lifting that item, then the structure has to support that item. So if you're going to pick up a huge rocket, that structure, that really thin structure, has to support that, which then makes the structure really heavy, which then it has to get even bigger. This is the whole, like, is the juice worth the squeeze? Like you see them adding all this components to this thing. Well, that means weight. So then it has to get bigger because it's a lighter than air. It's like a boat, right? The amount of air in that space has to be, this thing has to get bigger and bigger and bigger if it's going to carry more and more weight. But as it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, you got to have more structure, which is heavier and heavier and heavier.
That is interesting. That makes
That's
a lot
great.
of sense. Wow, that
So
is interesting.
if you can get extremely lightweight, strong composite structures to support that, then great. But like take the Goodyear blimp, right? You got the Goodyear blimp. Is it picking up a container? No, it's like carrying, a few people that are just looking down and reporting the football game. So if you're going to carry a really, really heavy component like they're showing here, that structure needs to support it. So
First of all, this is such a cool video. I mean, I agree with you. I don't know if this will be viable, but and that's a great point. Like the more you add, the more it has to be, more bigger, basically. But just imagine being here. This is so cool. Look how whoever built this is incredible. This animation, but look at this. It's showing you like you're from like the pilot, piloting this thing.
Yeah,
and then,
going up into it.
Here you go into it, and then you're opening the aircraft. What an awesome view. What an awesome view this is, dropping this thing. Like imagine being inside. I don't know. Super cool. I don't want to lose people. We are so far in. This is the longest live stream yet. And we're almost done. The site of the week is the last thing, really. But there is one more site here someone wants me to show. And then I want you guys to stick around for the outro because I have a really funny video in the outro. But yeah, let me show real quick. This guy wanted me to show this other aircraft here. He said, website aside, Airlander 10, a 302-foot long hybrid airship developed by British firm Hybrid Air Vehicles. I'm going to show that. Do you know what that aircraft that he's talking about is?
Yeah,
Mhm.
100 passenger
let's take a look at it.
capacity. Has 100 passenger capacity, and it can go 4,000 nautical miles. 5-day endurance.
It looks like a dual blimp if you look at the back of that. Pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Almost like a triple, really. But yeah, like you said, website aside, not a great website at all. Like Flying Whales, they had an awesome way to display what they're doing. But yeah, really cool. Let's see this. Maximum 5 days airborne, 10-ton max payload. Wait, 10 tons? That's
10
only
tons would be
20,000
100,000
pounds.
pounds.
Oh, 2,000. Oh, my bad. 100,000 pounds.
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
yeah,
That's
a ton is 2,000
is
pounds.
2,000.
So you're right, 20,000 pounds.
10, 20,000. Yeah. Oh, that's not that much. Oh, okay. Only 20,000 also max feet altitude, 4,000 nautical mile range. Wait, 4,000 miles you'd go in 5 days is 4,000 miles? Kind of.
Yeah, so you're gonna get on this thing. It'll take you from, Savannah to Alaska, but you're gonna be on it for 5 days. You want to do that? Or you just want to go to the airport and be in Alaska in 5 hours?
Because it's super slow. Yeah. Okay.
It's like it's the cruise ship of the air.
That's a nice way to put it. Yeah, but there is no such thing as that, huh? There's no actual like cruises in the air, huh? I wonder if they could do that with a blimp. No, you can't really add stuff because then it would need to be bigger. Yeah, like you said.
Yeah.
Take off and land anywhere
least
with
they're being
no need
realistic.
for ports or roads anywhere. Well, technically, they're not wrong. This is just like hover. They can take off and land anywhere, guys. That is funny. I'll play this role, I guess. Rethink persistence. Okay, 5 days. Okay. I can't skip ahead in this. This video is a little ridiculous. I can't skip ahead. Okay. All right, I just wanted to see the flying. So it's not a prototype, it's real. That's the main difference, I think. That's cool. Flying Whales obviously was all it isn't actually flying yet. But
At least Airlander is putting some numbers to it, saying like 20,000 pounds lift. They've done a little bit of homework.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough.
I think about the viability. Like, what's the viability? I'm not going to get on something and be on it for 5 days with a bunch of other people I don't know. People want more autonomy. They don't want to be herded.
Well, I mean, it's not for transportation, obviously, though. What do you mean?
Is it not? Okay, so is it? I thought it was for. Didn't they say you could put a whole bunch of people on it?
Oh,
100 people.
Wait.
Yeah.
I need to get. Wait, is it really supposed to be a commercial vehicle like that? That's pretty crazy.
It's probably for the Great Flood. I'm telling you. Global
Okay,
warming. This stock's going to skyrocket.
I may have misinterpreted this. This is then pretty
I know,
damn.
Anthony said 100. Anthony said 100 people. Anthony, did you see 100 people, or did you just?
No, I looked up the website.
Oh. Regional passenger transport. He's right here.
So there you go. There.
wow.
All right, so there you go.
Wow, look at this thing. Oh my god, it actually looks pretty
That's
cool.
really cool. Yeah, for 5 days, is it going to be really cool?
Yeah. I don't want to.
Carnival cruises.
Intercity transport. Oh, what? Intercity within a city? Are you serious?
What?
That's crazy. That is so crazy. Why would you need
I'll just
that?
take a Joby.
Yeah. High quality passenger. That is something the Jobies and the other ones cannot compete with. This definitely looks like a high quality passenger experience. It looks pretty cool.
Hell yeah. Throw a casino in there.
Yeah, he's right. There we go. 100 passengers, 750 kilometer range. Wait, why is the range shorter for regional air mobility? That's weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
Huh. Look, either you take a ferry or an airlander. I guess in that sense it makes sense. But not instead of instead of a ferry or something, but not instead of a Joby or a car, or I don't know if there's a better way, but yeah, interesting. I guess they're gonna have to have very specific flight paths, but would definitely be incredible to see this in the air in your city. And actually, it would probably be pretty silent. I don't know too much about that, Mark, but do you know?
They'd be they're very, very quiet. Yeah.
Right, like when they're landing. Yeah. Okay.
Even when they're landing, they're very quiet. So.
Do you
That's
remember
cool.
those tall stacks that used to go up and down like the Ohio River? And they had the thing that turned, and they go and they like casino boats and stuff like that. You remember that? That was
Yeah.
cool. That was a big deal.
With
Maybe
the big water wheel.
The big water wheel. Yeah, maybe the future is hopping in these lighter than air methods of flight casinos, man. Carnival cruises,
Oh, that's a cool idea. And if you put a casino up there, people are gonna go. That is a cool idea, because technically you can have I don't know, actually, Mark. Can you have a casino in the air? Isn't it international space? Because like in the water you can.
No, technically, like it's the air. So if you were in the air, how does it work out? I mean, technically, then it's a federal thing. It would be like, the jurisdiction is federal, because you're right. All of these casino boats are because, the Christians said, well, you can't be gambling on the land, but if you go out in a boat, then we don't care. So that's why you have casino boats everywhere. And unless you're American Indian, and then you can have, a casino on your land. So yeah, I don't know how that would work out with, but to that point, they're going to make 10 of these? They're going to make 10. So, so you can have some casino ships, airships, and that's it.
I mean, maybe it's not a viable business, but it would surely be very cool to see.
Yeah.
I don't know. One other thing I just thought of. I know this video is getting so long, and I want to wrap.
If that's the
things
case,
up.
we should just make personal dirigibles, where you can have your own personal dirigible, and like just you get in it or two people get in it, and it would be much smaller, but it would still be like you'd still get the same experience.
Who's to say you can't? Maybe you can, actually. That's interesting.
No,
I wonder how big that could be. Like Stratolaunch. They let me
run those numbers.
Okay. Hey guys, you guys may have just epiphanied up a new startup right here. So if this
there
is
you go, you guys, your personal dirigible.
This is recorded the very start of this. Yeah. Flying whales. We'll call it flying squirrels. Okay, like small. We'll be the Flying Squirrels Company. One thing I quickly thought about, but can you have windows in dirigibles? Like, I mean, the view would be incredible, but is this actually viable? Can you add windows?
That sits below the dirigible. Like you have the big balloon portion that's keeping you lighter than air is above you, and then that's a big pod that sits below it, and you sit in that pod.
I didn't realize. That kind of feels like cheating, but damn, that's annoying. I didn't realize. I thought you'd be inside.
I mean, the dirigible, that's just it. You can't be inside it because that whole void is filled full of helium or hydrogen. It's filled full of something that's lighter than air. I mean, that's the whole idea of how the thing goes up in the air, is it's less buoyant than the air around it, which allows it to float. It's a balloon.
Makes sense. I didn't know.
So you can't.
So if we were to do flying
squirrels,
inside
the balloon, you gotta hang.
Yeah, the flying squirrel would have to be like a little car and a big balloon above it, basically.
Wasn't there like a pivotal point in history? Wasn't there a pivotal point in history where like the Zeppelins and the dirigibles kind of like got a bad name? Didn't like some of them explode?
Yeah, it's called.
It reminds me of like
it's called the Hindenburg.
Yeah, the Hindenburg.
Yeah, it reminds me of a Led Zeppelin album cover or something like that.
Yeah, that's because it was filled with hydrogen air, right?
It is, but it wasn't the hydrogen that made it burn. It was the skin that was burning.
Oh, yes.
People think like, I mean, hydrogen, granted, hydrogen will burn, but it's not it was the skin that was burning that made it look so horrible.
But that's a good point that you brought up. The Hindenburg was used for travel, no?
It was, yeah. I mean, Zeppelins back in World War II, or like, you watch all these old World War II movies, and the Nazis were all flying around on Zeppelins. It's how they were getting around Europe back in the day. And it was like the way to travel. But the Hindenburg, I think, was what really made the public freak out, because one came into land. Yeah, here you go. play
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I'm playing with no sound, but yeah, so you can just
Yeah.
talk over.
But
Yeah.
the thing came in and hit some power lines, and the skin caught on fire, and of course the hydrogen helped it.
Oh my
You
God,
can
that's
use
a
helium.
Nazi flag on the
Or
Hindenburg.
is it? All right, yeah. So
Yeah.
there you go.
I didn't know it was like a Nazi thing, was it?
Yeah.
Well, the
Oh.
Hindenburg is German.
Yeah, I guess the
What's
name, but yeah, I guess the timing too.
Yeah. But I think
1937.
it crashed. But I think it actually crashed in America. I thought the Hindenburg happened in like Pennsylvania or something. Maybe that isn't the Hindenburg.
Oh wait, is this a?
There it is.
Oh,
Yeah,
footage
yeah.
of
There
it.
you go.
Oh wow.
That's it catching fire. Yeah. It's a bad
that
day.
is. What a scary thing to be in. Imagine playing slots. Oh.
I bet you
But it was
everybody
this-
parachuted out though.
No, I think everyone died.
Oh,
for
shit.
sure. Actually, you see some people running. I don't know. Yeah, a lot of people did die from it. I know, but damn.
So anyway, that I think was the bad. That was kind of like, all right, we're not doing this again, and not until now.
By the way, I didn't realize, but thanks for pointing out, Rezo. He says intracity means between cities, not within a city, I guess. Intra-city is within a city. I guess
That's right.
inter-city. So
Yeah.
So I guess the what was it? The Airlander 10 is going to be doing between cities, not within. That makes more sense. All right, guys. When can we buy stocks? Anytime. If you have a Robinhood or a brokerage account.
He's talking about the Zeppelins. He wants to get in.
I don't know. I would honestly put a little money in flying whales. Just like a little
Speaking
bit.
of this whole there's some hive mind consensus that something's dangerous, and how like you got the Lindenberg thing, and Zeppelin's not getting a lot of popularity. It reminded me of the nuclear reactors thing, because I don't know if you guys remember this. What was it? There was like, I forget the name of it. There was like 3 Mile Island or something like that, or near Pennsylvania or something. Like, not Chernobyl. It was in the United States. It was a nuclear
3 Mile
reactor.
Island.
3 Mile Island, yeah. And I was watching this thing about it. So it was like a perfect storm scenario, because like that was like what, the 60s or something like that. There was a movie that came out that was about
3
a
Mile
nuclear
Island was 1978, I think.
Yeah.
1978.
And there was a movie that came out, like, remember Poseidon, about the ship that went down? There was like a movie that came out kind of similar to that, but it was about a nuclear reactor meltdown. But it was like the perfect storm to like put fear into the hive mind that nuclear reactors are bad, because that movie came out and it scared the shit out of everybody. And then 3 Mile Island had its meltdown like 7 days later. So all of America was watching this scary movie about a nuclear meltdown. And then the real thing happened a week later. So that really like hit the nail in the coffin for like the consensus hive mind to be like, nuclear scary. Let's not die. Chernobyl sucks.
Wow, that's crazy. I didn't know about that. That's interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, that's like
the funny thing about 3 Mile Island is it wasn't, I don't think it was even a meltdown. I think there was just some failures where like it's not like the thing blew up like Chernobyl. It was there were some failures, and I think radioactive material was released, but it wasn't like it wasn't as bad as Chernobyl. Chernobyl was very bad, and Fukushima was very bad too in terms of the release of material.
So guys,
but you are right, Anthony. It was the perfect storm. We don't want
I
this
just
to
want to
happen
mention
to eVTOLs where there's some like.
Oh yeah, that would be a step back for the industry. Honestly, you're right. So we honestly that's why I like reviewing eVTOL news and seeing what others are doing. Before that, I think we were really just into hover. We're gonna be starting to do more a little of that. So I really enjoy that. And thank you guys for listening to Website of the Week. I want to mention, first of all, stick around to the very end. There's going to be a funny video to those who don't know yet. I'm going to change this background. It's absolutely terrible. I don't even know what aeroconnective.com is. I don't know why AI generated that. So none of this is relating, but we're gonna improve that. Just a little note there. And I think we're gonna wrap up. Yeah.
I meant to ask this earlier. Is there an official line of demarcation between experimental and super experimental? Are these definitions differentiated, or are we just saying it was super experimental?
No, it is a term, but it isn't official. It's not like an officially. I'm not too sure. It is a term, which I defined in the beginning, which is basically like, pushing the boundaries and doing like super extraordinary stuff. Mostly like trying to push the boundaries on aerodynamics, on sound, like the speed of sound, and I forgot what the other category was, but
probably hypersonics.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So
majority of the recipe is unknown.
Yeah, and it's also in the experimental phase when it's all in the beginning and unknown, like versus like the Falcon 9 was experimental until it wasn't, like we said, right? I mean, a lot of rockets are experimental for the most part. Yeah, I mean, anything in aerospace that is brand new that we've never seen is in that category. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today's episode. Stay tuned for this outro. Any last words from you guys before I wrap it up? You guys want to say the last words with me, maybe?
I'm hoping that some cool stuff happens. I want to do I can't wait for more cool stuff to happen with Horizon Aircraft. I want to do another hot Horizon Aircraft video.
Yes, we will do that probably next week. We'll get back to hover. We'll see as the week goes and news comes up. There's news almost every day now in the industry, so it's getting fun. Maybe we'll eventually get to 2 episodes a week. But yeah, this is your stream for today. It was a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed this outro video that I made for you guys. And until next time, as always, guys, stay thinking, question everything, and peace out.
Built a plane out of pine wood boards, taxi slow with a creaky roar. Pilot said, let her go, let's see. Then the wing said, not for me. It rolled one lap and lost a wheel. Still tried to act like it was real. I was laughing in the grass when it kissed the fence and passed. Then a sugar plane came low, all sprinkles, all show. Gummy bears chewing through the open air, berry nose and lemon fin, flew 3 blocks and dove back in. Another had a waffle nose, pancake body, tiny toes, took off fun and lost its zip, dropped a syrupy little flip.